Okay, and we are live. Welcome to the simulcast. We've already got some folks on. That's fantastic. As you all come on, be sure to hit us with comments, hit us with likes. If you're not subscribed, be sure that you do that as well. We definitely welcome it. But we're going to see the madness tonight, everybody. You know, we've got a couple of news channels up here that we're going to be able to grab a hold of, any kind of stats that we can come up with. But as it sits right now, Donald Trump, and this is as of obviously 8:48, Donald Trump is up 101 to 71, but it's I mean, this is a constantly moving thing. So we'll keep an eye on it. We'll let you guys know as certain states are called. We'll be filling you guys in with that stuff. But in the meantime, how you guys doing tonight? You excited? You feeling good? You feeling worried? You feel... I'm going to pull up that photo that I sent to you guys.
Yeah.
Guys,
I'm feeling good.
Oh, and I didn't even say, this is a simulcast with Continue Freedom and Braver Than the Rest.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments which channel you're listening on. Well, I've got the stats and everything up over here. But let us know if you're on Continue Freedom. Let us know if you're on Braver Than the Rest. But we found this on X, this photo, and half the country right now. Coors Light, guns, and popcorn.
It's so incredibly true.
Yes.
I mean, we're missing the guns, the popcorn, and the Coors Light, but we're here.
Yep.
We're here watching like everybody else is watching.
Yep.
And, you know, I think I've heard so much rhetoric about this. This is the most important election of our lifetime, which is exactly what I heard.
Which is what we always say.
Yeah, last time and the time before that. And as the only person here who was able to not vote, well, my first time voting was between Bush and Clinton, and yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're the old man in the room.
Yeah. But that was the most important election of our lifetime.
Yeah.
So,
But do you think that this is okay? Look at where we've come in the past. Look at 20 years.
Yeah.
I feel like the pendulum has never swung like this. Mm-hmm. It's definitely not in my lifetime.
I think, like, if I were to, I think technically, to not sound cliche, I think this is the most important one.
I don't disagree. And what I was going to follow up with is the issues at hand are it's so polarizing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. Couldn't be any, I mean.
Well, we've been able to make moral equivalence, right? I mean, moral equivalence into politics makes things very, very dicey. You know, it's for I saw this. In fact, I pulled up this photo. It was a random person. I don't even know who this individual is, but I saw it and it said, "Imagine trading your wife and daughter's rights to lower gas prices." Like, they're making the most ridiculous equivalence for the election, but it has become between a bit of a authoritarian state under the Biden administration, and we saw it some under the Obama administration, and you know, kind of a return. It wasn't a return to normalcy, but it was a return to prosperity under Trump.
Well, I mean, first of all, imagine trading your wife's or daughter's rights. When you say that to a pro-life person, absolutely. I can imagine. Not only I'm in total favor of it. My wife getting pregnant and aborting my baby, I'm not okay with.
Right.
My daughter getting pregnant and aborting that baby, I'm not okay with. I want that grandkid. I want, why would I ever say that? But because you're getting older.
You're
right?
getting close, buddy.
It's out on the airwaves now.
But I'm all about family. I'm all about life. I'm all about living.
Yeah.
And so,
Ben and I were talking before the show that there's an individual I had a conversation with. This was several years ago, and we talked about the state of his 401k. We talked about the state of debt that his grandchildren had already, by the very nature of being born, were laden with over $100,000 in debt, and he was still kind of had this TDS, Trump derangement syndrome perspective on things. And I thought, this literally makes no sense. Like, you say, I will never vote for him. Is your 401k better off? No. Do you feel like we're safer as a country? No. Are you okay with your kids having $100,000 in debt just upon being born? I'm never going to vote for Donald Trump. And I think that this election is the mandate. And I'm hoping that these numbers continue to come out and are the mandate of the American people.
I agree. And it's the big question is the why. Like, there's people that I know and love that I'm not going to vote for a felon. I'm not going to vote for I'm not going to vote for somebody that's so crass that he says that he would grab women in private parts. And it's kind of like, okay, do you know the full context of that story? First of all, you don't.
Right.
And if you did, you go, yeah, I guess rich people,
And also, he was a much different person than.
totally different. He was younger. Totally different.
Yes.
I've said things
Yeah.
when I was younger that in private friend conversations that probably I shouldn't say.
Yeah.
Right. And so, anyway, and the other one is the 36 felony counts on one charge. It's like, do you realize it's one charge? If you look at that and realize that it's one charge split up 36 different ways,
Yes.
that should make your stomach turn that's what they're trying to do to
Right.
him.
Right.
The bank fraud one is the one that gets me, where they say that, with Mar-a-Lago, which is something that everybody
The
does.
inflation
right?
on
they inflated this $18 million. And I always use the example of personal reference. My wife and I owned a commercial property, and we went and got a new tax assessment done. And the tax assessor, which was the case that they were making with Donald Trump, $18 million for 26 acres in West Palm Beach. Yeah, right. I should have bought that. But that the tax assessor says this, but no, we had a building that they increased by 25% our tax assessed value. And yet the people down the street who had invested more in their business or in their building and had a larger building that was nicer than ours, their tax assessed value went down. I mean, so that's why banks don't rely on that stuff. But I'm not going to get into depth on it.
Banks don't rely on it, and I totally hear you. It was a joke, and it was a kangaroo court to begin with. So, we got polls closing in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Arizona.
Yeah.
So, let's tune in to find out tomorrow where we're at in those states.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Check back with us next week on the show.
Yeah, we'll have the complete election coverage
A week
next
from
week.
tonight, we'll announce the winner, and that's how that'll go.
So this just popped up on Twitter. Projected winner for Ukraine.
Kamala.
That's
Yeah,
great.
that's
Oh wow.
How are we standing in the House and Senate? Are we making some major gains? That's the big question. I think everybody wants to know. No, we all want to know the president, but without the House and Senate, this is all for nothing. So if we can pick up the House and Senate, then no matter who wins, it's going to be a rocky road for.
It is. Yeah.
So as it sits right now, Rick Scott is at 55.7 with 91% reporting.
Yeah.
So that was obvious. Larry Hogan, less than 1% reporting, but at 71.5. That's in Maryland. Then let's see. What are the others? Ted Cruz. This is the one to definitely keep our eye on. Ted Cruz is at 50, but it's lost it. Ted Cruz is at 50.8.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Ted.
They have spent millions. And then Mitch McConnell, by the way, shout out to the establishment and the Uniparty, pulled his PAC from funding Ted Cruz during this tight campaign where the Democrats were pumping millions to try to win that seat. And Mitch McConnell said, I'm gonna take my money, because he's.
Dude, I'm so glad he's leaving.
Oh,
gosh almighty.
He's got to go. It's time.
Yeah. But that's the thing. The establishment isn't loyal to the party. They pretend like they are.
Right.
And Mitch McConnell has pretended to be a good Republican, but that's the uniparty for you. They will take a contested seat where it shouldn't be close, but it is in the Senate, and pull all the money out of it. I mean,
it makes your stomach kind of sick, doesn't it?
It really does.
So, and if Ted loses, which I don't think he will, but if he does, that the blood's on the hands of Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, largely so. Yes.
Yeah. So
there's this movement in the Republican Party. We have to win it, obviously, tonight, and polls are closing and are closed pretty much everywhere now. So we'll find out where we sit. But I've watched some of the numbers, and I've yet to figure out. I'm not an election expert by chance. I just read about it obsessively.
Yep.
Right.
With this down ballot issue, where Trump will be winning somewhere and they're not voting for, or you're not seeing that same. My brain can't wrap around the mindset of a person who votes for a Donald Trump presidency, but then would select a Democrat for the House or the Senate, because we're so divided right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or wouldn't vote at all.
That's right.
Yep.
That's
It literally makes no sense. And so
Cases in like cases in North Carolina with Mark Robinson that we just saw.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, have you all heard anything about that? We were talking about it beforehand. Jeremy, have you heard anything about how that case went?
No, I have not.
With, well, the allegations. I say a case. It was
Right.
these allegations against him. It seemed too well timed, I think, to be anything but a political hit job. But I could be wrong.
It wouldn't shock me.
It's definitely not out of the realm of dirty.
I mean, yeah. So there are several House and Senate seats that we want to watch, or races that we want to watch, and this is from the Post Millennial. I'll pull up a couple of these so we can go through them. All right. I should have gotten some background music to play. So key Senate races, obviously Montana, incumbent Democrat Senator John Tester. He's one of the highest at risk of losing his seat to Republican challenger Tim Sheehy.
Yes.
Yeah, which would be fantastic. And I don't think any of the pundits are saying that we aren't going to win.
Because I think
the
Tester's
Senate.
been there forever, hadn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
A long time.
Yeah, I think so. Of course, Ohio, the race between Democrat incumbent Senator Sherrod Brown and GOP challenger Bernie Moreno is considered to be a dead heat. This was a couple of days ago, so if anybody wants to pull those up, if you can find them on your devices, but if not, I'll look them up here in a minute.
There's so many screens.
Wisconsin incumbent Senator Tammy Baldwin is also in a tight race with GOP Senate candidate Eric Hovde. So, there's several of them out there that, if we don't get a decent majority in the House, and again, we can do a lot with a simple majority in the Senate, but if we don't get it in the House, it's bad juju all around.
So on Polymarket, I don't know if you follow Polymarket, the betting odds, one of the betting odds sites. That's the one I've been following this whole time. Trump said his highest. Of course, I know this is just where people are putting their money. It's not like a, percentage on if they'll win or not. But 72% for Trump, 27% for Kamala. So it has absolutely tanked for her and skyrocketed for him in the betting markets anyway.
Yeah. Did you see the? I got to remember where it was. CNN talking about how Trump has lost all his momentum and doesn't. Want,
Yes, I saw
basically
that.
doesn't want to be president anymore. And it's like, I'm sorry.
It's like, dude, he got done at Michigan at a rally at 2:30 this morning.
Yeah.
5:30 this morning he got home. 6:30 he was back at it.
So, but no sleep, zero
I
sleep.
mean, he's just been going. And
Do you think it's because? And I can't remember if we talked about this.
Diet Coke.
It's got to be the Diet Coke. The aspartame really does it for you.
Is it aspartame or aspartame?
It's aspartame.
Did you just make that word up?
I swear it's aspartame.
I'm pretty sure that I've heard people say that.
But do y'all think that? How do I put this? Do y'all really think that God is with him through this? Because there's been and I'm not saying like he's God's chosen, I'm not saying that at all. But
Are you trying to call him a prophet or
no, absolutely not.
a
I think that's the distinction that a lot of people are. It's a false equivalency that the left makes against us. That they think people think of him as some prophetic person.
Right. No,
I think
Like no, but
no. Because
how does somebody his age have the energy he has?
that's the reason I ask it.
Unless there's something driving him.
yeah,
And I've never been driven, I guess there's a super intense sense of purpose,
Yeah.
especially after the second failed shooting, right? Like, it seems like he's turned a corner and he's become much more personable. He's become much more relational, cares more. He's become more charismatic, which is hard to even say or stomach coming from him because he's very charismatic in the first, but I understand what you're asking is God holding him up?
Yeah.
And think about this. I don't know how you could say God isn't when there's so many people in the evangelical world that are holding him up in prayer.
Yeah.
And when you've got a vast, I mean, listen, my kids prayed. We prayed for the elections. We didn't specifically name the people,
Right.
but we prayed for our nation, prayed for elections. This have for the last couple of days.
For God's will to be done.
Yeah, God's will to be done, peaceful transfer of power. Let there be peace no matter who wins, all of those things. But in my own private life, I absolutely, and my boys know where I stand politically, and, but I also have been really careful to explain and express to them that God appoints.
Yeah.
And it doesn't give us license to take our hands off the wheel. We do our our part and we vote.
Right. Am I saying Trump is a model Christian citizen? No. No. But I think the best way I've seen it put is Mark Driscoll. Pastor. This is the best way I have seen it put of how if Christians have a problem with Trump, of why you should vote still. You're not voting for your savior. You already have that.
Right.
Yeah.
You're voting for your president.
That's right.
You're not voting for a pastor. You're voting for a president.
That's it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
he is definitely not going to be your spiritual leader.
nope.
No.
No.
Well, and you got to think too, that politics is chess moves, especially now. And we're trying to make chess moves that get us back towards the Constitution and Judeo-Christian principles and the morals and values that we used to hold really dear, very dear. And both the parties are in such stark opposition to that there's really only one way. I mean, if you really believe in that stuff. But I'll give a personal account of somebody that my wife sent me had written a long diatribe about why he's Christian. About why he said he's not voting for Donald Trump and why he's switching to the Democrat Party. And it was basically you take a Rachel Maddow show and put it into a heartfelt letter. And that's essentially what it was. And, which is fine, I'm trying not to be disparaging about the guy, but I thought you're basically saying because of Donald Trump, it had nothing to do with policy. It had everything to do with Donald Trump.
Right.
Because I don't like the mean tweets, because I don't like this, because I don't like that, I'm just going to poo-poo it all away and say, I'm going to focus on the man, not the policy, and I'm going to vote for the party of, we're conservative Christian guys, so, we don't like abortion, we don't like trans and kids, we don't believe that we should be putting our citizens at risk by allowing folks to come across the border. We want our fellow citizens to be safe and to be prosperous and all of that.
Right.
And that's not, you can't get that if you vote the other way. It's just, it's not possible. You you've had a sampling, right? Which is why the past 8 years have been kind of great, good and bad, because now people have had a sampling of what it's like. And I think my hope is that a lot of folks are going to come out and, well, I think already have in droves to say, all right, now it's time to make my voice heard. I'm not going to rest on my laurels and sit on the sofa.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It is amazing how Kamala, they don't put up a wall except around themselves.
Right.
Right.
Oh yeah. She had one up around her residence, and somebody posted it on X. And they said, she won't build the border wall, but she'll put one around her house.
Right.
And isn't that just the way?
Yeah. My favorite was today she took a phone call from a voter.
God.
I'm going to pull that one up, man.
How desperate do you have to be?
If you guys,
this.
So we've got a lot of folks on here right now. If you guys have seen the Kamala video with the photo, the phone, let me know in the comments if you've actually seen that.
Because I was telling Jared, I saw it live. I was watching Fox, saw it live. They cut in, and then I was on because I was just scanning Twitter a ton today.
Oh yeah. Well, today's the day to do it.
Yeah, and they were having that, and the comments were like, "This is unreal that she did this," and so I watched it, and it was her camera. It was her when she. My thing is
her camera
how
phone.
Stupid can you be to actually? You're faking this.
Yeah.
Why do you turn your camera towards turn your phone towards the camera?
Maybe it was something.
Have you voted already?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go for it.
No, you're good.
Go.
Just play it.
I didn't mean to have the volume on there.
You're good.
So here it goes, and then hey, look, everybody.
There it is. It's
okay,
like,
so on the top banner on all phones, you will
Yeah.
see a person's name, a green and a red button. That means you're on the phone. There is none there.
well, I mean, unless there was some kind of interference from her earpieces,
That was it.
It's like,
that tripped the camera, like,
Yeah.
Bluetooth, guys. It's Bluetooth.
yeah, whatever it was.
but look
there.
at, but like,
I mean, it's pretty pathetic. And the fact that she has a full-on conversation with a make-believe person should disqualify her for being in office.
the look that she has right there and her holding the phone, that is her presidency. Like that is
Well,
just
it's
the,
joy.
Just the,
It's joy.
it's joy.
That's
Yes.
pure joy.
Yes.
And when you have an imaginary friend who calls you,
Yeah.
you can be joyful. I mean, it's easy to be joyful.
Yeah,
What?
they can't judge you.
What's that, bro? Pizza?
Gosh, that's just
Pizza?
it's unreal.
Yeah, it's-
that you do
it's-
that.
Oh, that's great.
It's next level. And one of her staffers was in her ear going, "Hey, take a fake phone call from one of your voters. This is a great opportunity for us to show our momentum." And so she does. She takes a hold on, everybody. I've got somebody. Did the person call her? Because I mean, first of all, let's play, can we get the whole thing? Because did the person call her? Who has her number?
Yeah.
That, that's
I
voting.
think it was like them when they were going door to door. Did y'all see this?
Yes,
They were doing
Oh,
the
they
door.
staged
when
that.
she told them the family to go back inside and come
Yes.
back out.
Yeah.
You can hear it.
Yeah.
It's
I'm like, hey guys.
But come on. That's been the. I don't know if I played it in my episode yesterday on my podcast, but it was. Let me see if I can find it because it was the epitome of the Kamala Harris campaign, the fake, scripted, all that kind of stuff.
Hey, while you're doing that, let's just the Babylon Bee reminded me of something. Tonight, we need to be very sensitive to our colorblind friends because this map makes no sense to them whatsoever.
Wow, the Babylon Bee posted that.
Yeah, they said colorblind man has no idea who's winning.
Oh wow. Where was it?
So it's gray then? Is gray good or bad? Light gray? Dark gray? Dark gray. Trump's dark gray, right?
Oh, let me bring back up our. Oh boy, they're back on commercial again, huh? Well, here.
This, I'll tell you what, the stimuli. I mean, this is like
Oh, we're at 137.
full blown.
So this is, by the way, everybody, that's watching. This is AP, so that's where we're getting this from. But
Wyoming, yeah.
Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota,
And Nebraska.
Nebraska.
All
Yep.
four of those were in doubt.
I've got
So
178 to 113.
you
Oh,
got
wow.
178.
Who are they calling? Texas already?
See, I wish they showed.
Yeah, they're calling Texas.
Okay.
Okay.
So they're calling Texas. AP just hadn't called it yet.
Right.
So Trump is at 53. Yeah, 53.8 to 45.
I got 154 to 30 through NBC.
That's an interesting early count for Minnesota, but it's only 1% in.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not real. I showed the other. Did I text it to you guys? The Minnesota map from Reagan in '84.
Yes.
Did I text that to you all?
Yes. Yeah, that was
Or
interesting.
Mondale only won just because he was from Minnesota. That's the only one. That's the only reason he won the state of Minnesota.
Yeah.
The Reagan
How
Reagan
gorgeous
map
would that
is
be?
Gosh, I know it.
unbelievable. It's but look at what he was able to do because of that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's kind of what it takes. It's
Oh,
that
and he
was
won DC. Sorry, he won.
that was like a
Oh,
clean.
okay. Yes.
Yeah, but it's not even on the map. You can't even see it. It doesn't belong here.
It's not a real place.
Might as well be like Roswell, New Mexico. It's
They're trying, man. Yeah, DC. Yeah, there's only one way DC's gonna ever go.
and that's to California.
right. Man, Pennsylvania is showing. What are they say? Are you seeing over on Fox?
I'm
Are they
seeing
reporting
Pennsylvania right now is Harris at 59.7,
Okay, so
Trump's
it's
at
coming.
39.4.
So it's coming down a little
Okay.
on her side anyway.
anything? Yeah.
Let me see what Fox.
Yeah.
Now,
so
now
most-
North Carolina has swung 51.9 to 46 for Trump.
Yeah.
So too close to call is Georgia, which is 52.7, 46.6. I don't know how that's too close to call. I don't know
much
what
is
I don't know what's in, and if
I think they're so hesitant on these battleground states. I mean, it's just like
because it was a debacle the last time.
because Fox called Arizona last year. Right, we're like 1%.
1%,
I'm like,
yeah.
whoa, wait a minute, wait a second.
I mean, he won it, so I mean that was good.
So here's my thing with Virginia, and this. So they've given it to Kamala already. Trump's still ahead in Virginia, and I think over 50%. Now, I sent out on my Facebook. I sent out the map, which was pretty bullish, I will have to say, but I do like to take some risks when things like this are going on.
Your prediction map?
Yeah. Which
Let me see if I
was
can find yours.
had him winning New Hampshire and Virginia. Very slightly.
The audacity, Ben. I can't believe you.
Oh, this was yours right here, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because I had
So,
him.
and actually I added, and I'll just tell you, I added just one, I think. So I added Michigan as well.
Oh, wow.
After thinking about, I was like, let's go with it, see what happens.
Yeah.
So that's, and I'll be honest with you, this is solely off of stuff I read on Twitter,
Okay.
which
Can
a
be
lot of the stuff that
can
I'm
be
seeing
true or not true.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff I'm seeing right now is kind of lining up with that. So take that as you will. But
Yeah, that one was. I even said it. That was pretty bold.
it's bold. Yeah.
That's a bold one.
Yep.
And Jeremy, yours was.
Mine was even bolder.
Let's see.
You had
Because I'm pretty fearless.
you had 538, didn't you?
Yeah.
No. Oh, okay.
I had 368.
368 was yours.
Dang, that's pretty.
I was. Oh wait, yeah. No, you didn't have 368. That's not it.
I'm a believer.
You are.
I think you had that one right here. Here, let me pull this down so I'm not.
Oh yeah, I had a lot. I had an awful lot of taupe.
Yeah,
I remember
you
that.
didn't call Virginia.
Oh, okay. So you
didn't call Virginia.
Michigan, Minnesota,
Man, but you had
New Mexico.
you had
Which would be
316 without. Whew.
That's. I mean,
That is, of course, I guess
well,
all
without-
those could go blue. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, right. And without calling it,
I had this one.
which
that's the smart one. That's the smart, safe pick right there, and I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's barely a win. I mean, I'm just
be-
saying he's not going to win
Right.
Michigan, Wisconsin, but he's got to take Pennsylvania and Arizona, and he loses everything else. But
Listen, I'd be happy with anything 270 and over.
yeah,
So I don't really care.
yeah.
That what's important is how, even if he loses these places, how did he perform in them? Was it close? Because if Virginia's like 1 or 2 points, that's not good for her
no
at all.
No,
So
it'll be interesting to see as the night plays on here. And we don't have a curfew tonight, so I know we try to keep our episodes short. 1 hour. Tonight won't be that.
No.
I can just tell you that.
Nope.
there's no way that's not going to
Nope, we're geared up and ready to go.
That's right.
I'm gonna keep pulling this up all night long.
Having Monster Energy drink.
we will end up like that by the end of the night.
That is us. That is us.
Oh man, let's see. Now this was something we were talking about beforehand, before the show, but this was on CNN, and
Okay, so sorry to
Yeah.
interject there. They just called Ohio for, well, we knew this, but they called Ohio for Trump, so he's
Okay.
got that one now. It's 195, 113 now.
okay, yeah, AP hadn't caught up yet. So 195, you said.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah, see, NBC is still at 160. So you're doing Fox.
Mm-hmm.
You got AP. I'm doing NBC.
Correct. And I've got NBC.
Yeah, you
It's what I'm playing.
right.
If I can pop in on the audio if we need to, but for now, I'm just keeping it as something to scroll so that we can keep an eye on.
Well, I find NBC to be relatively unbiased. So
Oh, yeah.
Man, I was listening to it beforehand, and the smattering of just garbage.
Oh.
It was all about misogyny, and I thought, just stop.
MSNBC is actually my favorite. I think they're more.
they're well. CNN
right in the
also is
middle.
kind of very, maybe even right leaning. I don't know, but what I do know is I trust fully whatever NBC says because
Yep.
they've been around so long, and you can't have that kind of track record without being
unless you just spit out the facts.
fair and balanced.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fair and balanced. So all about that.
I want to make sure I'm getting the sarcasm, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Oh,
like,
yes.
You're not.
Just so y'all know, my favorite thing to do on election night is
Yeah.
to flip between Fox and CNN and MSNBC.
Oh, yeah.
And I watch them all, and I flip every commercial. I'm going to the next network, and it's so fun to watch because that's our nation's, like, the polarity in play.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can see the polarity.
Yep.
These people are losing their mind on Fox or on, like it just depends on who's winning, who's losing. Can you believe it? It looks like he's going to win Pennsylvania. No, and especially when it was him and Clinton. Man, this pop. I almost want to pull all those the tapes from all those networks and put them together and watch them. You know how your screen, you can watch 4 football games at once.
Mm-hmm.
It's heaven.
Oh, I know.
It's also hell. It's great and it's also terrible because it's like too much. I can't. Okay, he's running. No, they're running. Who's passing? Oh, refs.
It's like when I woke up this morning, it was like, okay, here we are. I was like, I know what I'll be doing today.
Yeah, this is a Super Bowl of.
This is it.
This is a Super Bowl that matters.
Yep.
The one that makes a difference.
Yep.
Tomorrow, the stock market could collapse.
The one that the Kansas City Chiefs are not in the running for.
Well, yeah. As long as people are able to false start and horse collar and not get called for it, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yep, totally.
But you saw Patrick Mahomes' mom, right?
No.
Yeah.
Came out wearing a MAGA hat
Oh,
or MAGA shirt. What was
now,
it?
yeah, her and Patrick and his wife, yeah, they're
I'm surprised they didn't get kicked out for wearing that.
the league, yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I guess Mr. Pfizer came out. Did he come out and support his girlfriend? Did
Oh,
here I'm gonna go to YouTube.
not I haven't heard of technically him coming out and supporting, but I would have to guess. I mean, Taylor would dump him if he didn't. So
I'm gonna put the cameras on you two guys. I'm gonna let this little dog out here.
okay,
There we go.
You gonna let her
You guys
out?
She just wants to go back out through the door.
Oh, gotcha. She doesn't want to hang out with us anymore.
Sarah, if you're watching, I'm taking care of things here.
she is tired of our crap, is what
He has got it on lockdown. So far, where we're at tonight, we are at 168 electoral votes for Trump, 34 for Harris.
That'd be great.
That just sounds so good.
That would be fantastic.
But we know that it's Florida, the right to abortion.
Okay, so Wisconsin just started. See, this is like all the heavy hitters, man. I mean, we've gone through the ones that we know.
The knowers are. I mean, they're calling Indiana at 2%.
I mean, it's
So
like it's kind of not
like-
even fun to see that.
No.
It's like, okay, we know. Like
We are. Yeah, this is what we know.
Michigan polls close in 2.5 minutes.
Now,
Wisconsin, 2 minutes.
yep. So now, which ones were the ones? There were several of them that were having issues. Wisconsin, I believe, wasn't it? Because of the issues in Milwaukee.
In Milwaukee, they had to recount. They said they were recounting 30 to 40,000 ballots. At first, I saw this and I was like, "Gosh, are you serious?" I automatically went to the Dems are behind this, but this could be good. It was a Republican poll watcher, I think. Somebody they said that was Republican that was there saw a door on the tabulator that was open while the ballots were going. So they alerted him, they stopped it, and now they're recounting 30 to 40,000 ballots.
Listen, I'm just gonna. It's an election. Mistakes happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, how many millions of ballots are out there?
Fires happen in boxes and stuff. It's not unheard of. This is an election, or as the Chinese counterparts like to say, an erection. So,
Oh gosh.
Christian show.
And we are off on Facebook.
So, what exactly was Amendment 4, the right to abort in Florida, that is passing at 57%?
I thought it failed.
They're giving it a yes.
Really?
They're giving it a yes. It increased the time, correct?
That's interesting.
That one I'm not sure about.
I'm not.
I'll be honest, and I should know that, but I didn't even realize it was on the ballot. Yeah, I really didn't.
Man, it is crazy the difference of the Electoral College numbers.
Amendment 4 creates a constitutional right to abort. This proposed amendment to Florida's constitution would prohibit laws restricting abortion before fetal viability or when necessary to protect pregnant women's health. And it is passing.
Well, that's interesting.
That is.
For a state that's been gone, that's no longer a swing state. I mean, election alert, what do we got?
We got.
Oh, poll closing. Okay.
That's like one. That's like one.
That's
why even.
we were joking about this a little while ago. It was have you ever seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yes.
When he's driving down the road and he's listening to the song and the music stops and Siri says, "In 1,000 feet, stay straight." And he says, Why did you interrupt the song?
Why do you interrupt for that?
That's what it's like when they start popping up things. Oh, come on. Okay, got
Projected winner of South Dakota and their 3 electoral college votes is Donald J. Trump. Projected winner,
Okay.
Wyoming, DJT.
Didn't see that one coming.
Nope.
That's
All right, so the NBC's got it at 154 to 30, and you said Fox News has it at what?
195 to 113.
And NBC has it at 168 to
And
34.
Right now, Trump is up on the popular vote 52% to 46. He's got like a 3 million.
Yeah, 52 to
thing lead.
46.
Not that that matters.
I mean, Michigan's pretty close, but that's the thing. The popular vote. If I almost think that, because we've got the census 2020 census screw up that would have changed the electoral college votes.
Yep.
And if it's close and contentious, that's going to come into play. But I think that if Donald Trump comes out and I don't think that it's a mandate that that we came out in such numbers, and we have to.
Yeah.
Have the popular vote won along with the electoral college, and then there is no argument about it one way or the other, right? I mean, the Democrats are still going to challenge it.
Am I kind of crazy in thinking that it's more rational to me that the popular vote would mean more than?
No, it shouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't, because they've done the math on the big cities. So if you took, all the big blue cities, it took Seattle, Portland, Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Detroit. Detroit's not as big as it used to be, but you take these large cities and they did the math. And if you just went off a popular vote, it would be the Democrat Party as the president running everything, but they would have a majority in perpetuity forever and ever. Okay. So yeah, it's good. It shows that it's working when the popular vote, when the electoral college supersedes the popular vote. Because the electoral college prevents the mob rule that you get with a popular vote. And
Just had this discussion with my 11-year-old while we were in Washington State.
Yeah.
Gave a great opportunity to talk about how, listen, when you have a hub of people, they start to think alike.
Mm-hmm.
They rub off on each other, breathe the same air, drink the same water. And so the electoral college gives people that are not from there a voice.
Yeah.
And I think one of the greatest plays that the Democrats have made is to plant the seeds of abolishing the electoral college and go for the popular vote. It's genius because they control these cities. They control. Now we're seeing, things are not as.
Don't want to. I'm breaking in real quick.
Go ahead, break.
Ted Cruz has won.
Ted Cruz has won.
Ted Cruz, they called it. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
First thing he needs to go in and
Praise Jesus.
slap Mitch McConnell.
Yes.
he say, "I didn't need you anyways."
Yeah. Who you?
Wow. Yeah. No. You were saying the.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a major. It's a genius play because they know if they can control the cities, right, which they do, there's your popular vote. When you consider that Chicago, New York, L.A., San Francisco, Seattle, the major cities are, if the major cities all vote a certain way, then the rest of the nation doesn't matter.
Right.
That's pretty incredible when you think about it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, think about it this way too. If talk about DC, you can talk about Puerto Rico. All these moves that the Democrats are trying to make. They're trying to leverage the system in a way it wasn't intended to be, right? That Puerto Rico should not be a state.
Yeah.
Well, it's garbage.
Right. But so says Hitchcliff. Is that it?
I don't know what.
Well,
Here's the
hold,
thing.
hold, hold on just a minute. Hold on just a minute.
Okay, it's not garbage. You're right, Ben.
I've never been to Puerto Rico.
It's not garbage.
Is this? I just want to make sure this is right. Hold on just a second. This is
Okay.
big.
I'm going to keep. You verify. I'm going to keep talking.
Yeah.
Before I lose my train of thought.
Yeah, go ahead.
But so if you the moves they're trying to make, doing away with the electoral college, they wouldn't be doing any of those things if it wasn't going to shift the balance of power in their favor.
Correct.
And we say, sometimes to our own detriment, but rightfully so, we say, no, this is not how the Constitution. That we use that as our bulwark.
Even if it doesn't benefit me,
Right.
this is what was established. This is how we're going to stay.
Exactly.
And I think that's so incredibly important because it gives, it's how it should be. Yeah, I'm not in favor of this, but
Right.
this is what's right.
Yep.
So what do you got over there?
So this is a page I follow on Twitter. They all look like this looks like a Fox logo, but it's not. They all look the same. But leading report on Twitter projected Trump to win North Carolina.
That'd be huge.
That's not on the, but I mean,
That's
I
huge.
don't know why they would come out with that if that's not coming soon. So
Well, he's kind of going through it right now. Look how Asheville's still blue, despite the failings of FEMA.
Yep.
What are these people? They hate Trump that much
It's intellectual capture, man.
that they hate him that much.
Yeah.
Yep.
They love his policies.
Oh yeah.
They hate the
It's
guy.
him. Yeah. There was today they were talking to people that just voted in, I forgot where it was. And this is not about race, but I'm just describing who this was. They were talking to a black mom with her kids out front of it. And they said, "Who'd you vote for?" And she said, "Kamala Harris." And they asked why. And her reasoning, like, if you're going to vote for her, have reasons that are more than, and these were the two reasons, because it's cool that she's running and she's a woman, and it's pretty cool that she's black.
I had somebody that I know
I'm like-
post that today. My heart
That doesn't make sense.
leapt
Like, it doesn't.
as I thought about telling my children that I had the pleasure of voting for the first black woman president of the United States. And I thought to myself, how incredibly narrow-minded
No.
are you?
Yeah.
That you're not going.
It's cool. That's what you're voting on.
I had the opportunity to
God.
People like that shouldn't vote.
No.
Sorry.
right.
When you're not informed enough.
Well, it's not even that. It's if you're voting based on feelings,
Yeah.
there's a problem.
Yes.
You need to grow up. Your Abdullah Oblongata needs a little bit more development because you got to strip the feeling out of it and go, hey, you know what? This is what I'm going to suck it up and swallow hard that I got to vote for this guy that I don't like.
Yep.
Because he's actually better at this.
There's a ton of people that are actually doing that.
There's a ton
they
of
don't
people.
like him at all.
There's a ton of people.
But they want their country to be better.
Right. They want to get out of Ukraine. They want to stop funding these crazy, stupid
Yeah.
endeavors. They want to help Israel.
I mean, unless we get people
This is a great poll
that
that's
care
on right now.
that care more about country, then that drives me nuts, man.
Yeah.
Well, they try to lump people into groups and they think they're going to neatly vote that way. And I don't know if you saw this, but the steel workers in Pittsburgh showed up in droves. And this was actually from Politico, that they showed up in droves, even though their union had come out to support Kamala Harris. The actual workers were like, nope, that's not it. And that's beautiful because that's independent thought. We're independent of this larger organization. Fine. You want to come out and vote for Kamala. Now they should respond by saying, stop donating our union dues. Yeah.
Auto workers union did that too.
Yeah.
Most of the workers, when they say, "Oh, the auto workers union backed us," no, the higher ups backed
The
you.
people in suits backed you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you're going to give them what they want.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, and the what was his name? Oh, the thick Boston accent guy. That, you know who I'm talking about.
Teamsters.
Yeah, the Teamsters
guy. Sean something.
Yeah,
Sean Penn.
I kept wanting to say Sean Fain, but that's not it.
Yeah, he didn't support anybody.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, he came out in favor of not supporting.
I'm like,
he
come
did
on,
that
dude.
as that was a self-saving measure because
Absolutely.
it looks bad
Yep.
to say we're going to support Donald Trump because they're just that hardcore Democrats, but to not tick off his union workers, he said we're just not going to support anybody. Now you guys go on and support who you want to, and that's really the way it should be because those unions they've pumped millions upon millions.
So they haven't. There's more than one place they haven't updated on here, but the New York Times has come out and said Trump to win North Carolina by over 3 points, and another place said Trump has secured North Carolina.
Well, Lord, that'd be a big
That
one.
has not come out on the news networks, but that's a huge one because I'll tell you something. The Democrats that I've listened to were banking on North Carolina.
Well, she spent a lot of time there today, this week.
I mean, that could be very telling for the rest
Yeah.
for the rest of it. Dude, as much as I hate politics, as much as I hate it, we were talking, I love this stuff. Like the fancy stuff they do with the boards.
Oh, I love it. The technology wears me out.
It's absolutely fascinating.
I can watch that.
Would you not like to be doing that right
I would
now?
love it.
Gosh, it'd be so cool.
I would
No, because as a
absolutely
guy
love
on the production side of it, which is what I do.
Yeah.
I'm video, photo, tech production type stuff.
Yeah.
I just see that as a technological nightmare.
75% in Georgia. They still say it's too soon to call. Trump's up 52.4 to 47.
Wow.
He's up. Yeah. Now that's interesting. That's 70. That's 3/4 of the way there. Of course, who knows how many votes will be discovered in the back of a Prius at 4 a.m. But this is.
Well, here's another one that's. I mean, you've got you're looking at New York, and you've got Nassau County reporting in with 50% of the votes almost, and Harris is leading 178 to 171.
See, dude, New York's gonna be. She's gonna win it. New York's gonna be close though.
Yeah,
close in terms of New York.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
So,
I mean, you've got your hubs, Albany, which truthfully isn't even. I mean, Albany is definitely almost 70% Harris,
yeah.
but it's so funny. Albany's 70%. Right next door to Albany is Trump. So
I know, it's
just
weird.
bizarre how the cities work
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, it's your old stomping ground. I'll tell you what I can't wait to see flip. I bring it up all the time because I never got to have the guy on my show. He was a guy named, he goes by Osiris, and he was
That's
part
an
of Chicago.
awesome name.
Yeah, that's his
awesome
handle
name.
or his his Instagram handle. But he is part of this Chicago Red. Have you heard? I've told you guys about them, right?
No.
Oh gosh, I thought I had.
I haven't heard it. Mm-mm.
So it's this group of folks in Chicago and young people. So they're going to be at it for a minute.
Yeah.
And they're trying to flip Chicago red. They're trying to turn it into a red city. And I don't know what it's going to look like, post-election. Kamala's obviously going to win Illinois, but I'm fascinated to see what kind of a result they're able to have inside of Chicago because they've been working it hard. It's still a small organization, but they're getting their name out there in this election. And you turn Illinois, Chicago turns. You turn a big
Can
city.
you imagine that?
Well, it's think for the long term because you turn a big city. Now you're the ones. How in the world did you do this? Because now, after Chicago needs to come like a New York, or a Detroit, or something like that.
New Hampshire just on Fox was called for Harris.
Man, I was hoping it might.
But see, there's 39% in. She's got about a 10% lead, and they called it. So let's just see where I want to see is where it ends up. If it ends up like very close, then that's still a win for. Even though he didn't win the state, that's still a win. That's still good news for him.
Well, I'll tell you, Chicago is. I'm looking county by county. Cook County, which is Chicago proper, 66% Harris, 32 Trump.
And see, that's not.
But then You move over to DuPage County, and it's 170 Harris, 116 Trump. You move to Kane County, 78,000 for Harris, 57 for Trump.
Where are you at?
In Illinois.
Oh, in Illinois. Oh, I need to back out then. Yeah, you know, I don't know if you've seen the let me put it on the right one. There you go. If you've seen the map, but if you take the entire U.S. and you just lay it out by congressional district, that red sea that you see everywhere, you know what I mean?
It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, it's mind blowing.
Yeah,
it's absolutely mind blowing. But you know, you're right. You know, it's always the big cities. Those big cities are, and all we need to do is flip one. Just flip one big city, one of these Democrat strongholds, and it'll be like putting a drop of blood in a swimming pool.
Yeah,
you know, and it just kind of spreads.
What I don't understand is Iowa right now.
Oh yeah.
So
there it is.
They're calling Iowa, but I don't know how you can call it that.
They're calling Iowa for Harris?
Yeah, it was blue.
I'm gonna bring it up, and Ben's all gonna be off camera. I don't have a 2-person screen share, but what in the world? Who's calling it?
Well, the map was calling it.
Oh, the map was.
Yeah, it's
okay.
blue.
Okay.
But
yeah, no, I mean it's around Des Moines. It's blue, so you can see it over on this screen. But there we go.
Hello, girl.
So Georgia and North Carolina both leaning Trump. Pennsylvania swinging back just a little bit towards Trump.
Pennsylvania.
Michigan.
Pennsylvania's only separated by 6% now. That went real quick.
Closing the gap.
Shoo, buddy. Only 30% in.
So do you think we're going to see it though? I mean, here's the thing: with the number of people that have shown up, they were in Georgia. There were 4 million people that had already showed up to vote in early voting. That was before Election Day, which is 80% of the total number of people that voted in 2020. So you're talking about a monstrous showing.
Yeah.
And are they going to be able to, if they start having those overnight peaks, you know, are they going to be able to
sneak in and plant ballots enough to compensate for the loss?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think that, and we talked about this, Elon Musk having, I hate that it's called X. I still call it Twitter. Him having Twitter is huge in this cycle because he's part of the Trump team and he's not letting any crap go down to where it's like stuff's hidden. Like if you say like, oh, there's suspected cheating in this area, well, that's going to show up on Twitter now because he's not what's the word? Hiding any of that.
Right.
He won't allow it to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just don't think there's going to be able to be as much cheating. I just don't.
Well, I think you've got enough people watching too.
Yeah.
Now
Oh, absolutely.
that it's totally different.
Well, a lot of the states have made, Florida, and just even since 2000. So Florida starts counting their mail-in ballots and starts counting their absentee ballots right away. So we'll know. I mean, obviously we know now Trump wins
That was
Florida.
so fast.
Oh, it was insanely fast.
Just every state do that.
Yeah, they have these silly rules where they say we can't open any of these ballots until the actual election day, and then you've got it gives them. Look, early voting, I've bounced back and forth as to whether or not I even support early voting. Excuse me, I definitely do not support mail-in ballots.
Heck no.
I'm all about absentee ballots, but I put it out on my channel the other day that the military, they ran out of absentee ballots for active duty military.
Yep.
Yeah, isn't that ironic?
Yeah. That are 70 or 80% Republican.
Right.
So, but yeah, this early voting, fine. If you're going to do it, take a page out of Florida's book. Don't do like Nevada. This 3 days after the election, we're still going to be bringing them in.
There, when Arizona came out when the guy came on and said, now it may take up to 14 days to, like, dude, no, this is the freaking United States of America. We should know. And somebody posted of all the elections that we've had when it was called. And from the start, every year it was same day. And then 2000 was different because Bush and Gore, that whole thing. That was a recount. That's okay. How is it that with now more technology, it takes us so much longer to count these things. I mean, it makes people think.
Well, Ben, I like to. I want you to think and just consider this for a second, because I did think about this for a minute. Why would it take them so long? And I believe it's because we learned a new type of math
There it is. Yep.
where you have to show your work off to the side, and you've got to use crazy amounts of numbers.
At the Common Core thing.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
right.
Common Core.
Yeah.
And so because of that, it's much harder now. It's just hard. I can't. It's 2 pages. Every ballot's 2 pages.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
Think about how much faster elections are going to go when Donald Trump does away with the Department of Education and Common Core becomes a thing of the past.
You know, people freak out so bad because that's all we've known. But when he says he might do away with the Department of Education, people are like, "Oh my gosh, no! How is that terrifying to you?"
Yeah.
I mean, quit going back to how we've always done it.
That's the thing.
Well, and I
How
think
we've always done it.
And I mean, you take this into consideration. Where do we rank right now in the world?
Yeah, like 20, 30 something.
So clearly, our Department of Education isn't working,
We should.
and we spend way too much money on it.
Yeah.
We're not getting the results we want. So what do? You're fired.
Yeah. When he said do away with the Fed. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's do that.
So, yeah, I think that's probably part of it. I mean, I'm all about bringing back the hanging Chad, which you guys don't know because you didn't vote in that election. But yeah, there was. You do know because you're a historian. But in Florida during the Bush Clinton, I think it was Bush Clinton. They had Chads. You'd punch your ticket.
Oh, that was with Gore.
Gore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, whoever it was, but yeah, you got your hanging Chads now. You can't. I love our vote here.
Oh, it's
You
great.
go in, you color it in with a pen, you scan it,
Yep.
and it's done. And you know what you don't have to worry about are all those. And I saw repeatedly in Kentucky and other places where people vote for Trump and it would go to Kamala on the screen, and they'd vote for Trump again and go to, like, they're trying to get
Yep.
Trump and it won't select Trump.
Yep.
And so, or in California, where isn't it California where he's on page 2, where
Yeah.
you got to hit next to find him.
Yes, he's at the very bottom, or his name is like misspelled,
Like-
or it's like okay,
Little things that in a contested election could be used to disqualify the vote.
yeah,
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, you're right. The way we did it, fill it out with a pen. And you know what? Nobody ever touches your ballot. In Pennsylvania, where they were long lines.
Yeah.
And by the way, where Scott Pressler, shout out to Scott Pressler. I know
Yeah,
Scott
buddy.
Pressler isn't watching this live stream. He's too busy.
Yeah,
but
dude.
that guy has been pounding the pavement.
He's been busy.
He has flipped counties
oh yeah,
all over Pennsylvania. And in these contested the places where he's flipped is where they put 1 or 2 poll workers. And I was watching an interview of a lady. She sat there. She showed up at 3:00 to vote. Sat there for 3 hours, and she had to submit paperwork to them. I don't know all the ins and outs of it. They didn't specify, but she had to give them some sort of paperwork. It took them an hour to get it back to her, and then she could go cast her vote. That's the cumbersome process. So she had to leave. Hopefully, she got to vote today, but she said, "I got to come back on election day," and she was trying to early vote. So they make it to where you spend half a day just to.
they want to tire you out and have you say, you know what, no,
Not worth
Yeah.
it.
yes,
Not
Yep.
worth it. And you see that. Like, I love the fact that we have to show our ID,
Oh yeah,
that we
why wouldn't you?
we fill it out, and then we scan it, and it's done. And I don't know why it's so hard. Like when Tennessee reports in, which I'm sure we are. I think we're probably done.
Oh yeah, we're done.
Oh, yeah.
I think they probably called it with 2% of the vote.
Yeah, probably.
They pulled an Arizona on it.
They started out at 6. You know what? We're just gonna go ahead and give Tennessee to
So
Trump.
Tennessee 68% Trump.
Yeah.
Guys, okay, so let me just interject here. This is so interesting. I'm watching Fox, and Trump is up almost 2 percentage points in Virginia.
In Virginia.
He's gone up since they called it for Kamala. He's up 50 to 48.2.
Yep.
And they called it for Kamala.
They called
early.
it for Kamala. They did this last year.
Yeah.
when basically he was still in the lead a little bit. And I don't know, does it say on yours how much is in?
Yeah, 60%. So
Dude, see?
59% of the vote in. And it could be, they make assumptions on some of this.
I know.
But it's almost like a call in baseball, right? Like they never undo a call in baseball.
Yeah.
I feel like they do that with some of these, some of these states that they call this early that are this close. But they say, well, most of the votes that are coming in from Richmond, and Richmond is whatever the percentage is.
Yeah.
This map doesn't show the percentage, but okay, so they're 80%.
Well, Fairfax, I remember Loudoun and Fairfax County are big deals there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And she is not performing the way that they'd hoped she would in those counties.
The Democrats that were on the Fox panel before I even came over here, they were. One guy said, I don't want to say I'm going from optimistic to cautiously optimistic, but we might be heading that way. When there's a crack in the armor there, when they admit that's a huge admission by them. So if you pay attention to those little things that they say, where they have, let's see, Pennsylvania. All right, so they've got Kamala up 4% now, with only 34% in Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
that has shrank to nothing.
Yeah, there's a long way to go.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I think those Pennsylvanians, I know some, and they don't do Common Core over there.
It would shock me if Pennsylvania doesn't go Trump.
It
really would. I mean, it would shock me.
They're counting right now. I can tell you what, we'll have it done by midnight.
Yes.
So,
based on these I'll tell you what, I am shocked that the numbers are as close as they are so far.
Mm-hmm.
But just to keep in mind, Trump has won, and they have called just about everything that he needs to win. They haven't called Arizona yet, obviously.
Yeah.
But if he gets Arizona and Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, that's it.
Oh yeah.
That's all. That's all. Literally all it takes. So this close race in Georgia is a nail biter. But once that's gone, you're really looking at North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Arizona. And I haven't seen anything out of Arizona yet.
I'll tell you, no, nothing on here. But I'll tell you what I've seen again from Twitter on Arizona is that it is absolutely mind blowing. The road what the Republicans have done voting wise in Arizona.
Oh yeah,
unflipping real.
Well, I'll tell you what. So here we are in the Senate and the House. Republicans have flipped one seat in each.
Okay,
which is a big deal.
That's a very big deal.
I know they picked one up because Manchin went independent, and now I forgot who the guy is now that got elected in West Virginia. Can't remember his name. So we picked up West Virginia. And North Carolina got there. Okay, so it's closer on.
Yeah, so GOP right now in the Senate is 46-36 is what it's showing.
Okay.
And obviously all we need is, we can do a lot with a simple majority.
Yeah.
And I think it was funny that the simple majority that the Democrats put in, that they were doing cheetah flips over when it came to, that's what got us the overturning of Roe v. Wade and, all of our Supreme Court wins. And it's, that's why when they start messing around with the system like they do, like they love to do, it's really kind of frustrating because, it speeds up in a lot of ways. A simple majority speeds up the process far more than I really think it should.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys think about it, but.
Well, here's news.
That's shocking. Rhode Island went for Kamala.
Josh Hawley is down currently in Missouri. 49,
really?
Yeah, against Lucas Kuntz, 49% to 48%.
Lucas Kuntz shot a guy.
Did he really?
Yeah. You didn't see that? Oh, man. I did a whole video on it. He and Adam Kinzinger.
Oh, yes. That was him? Okay, yeah, I saw that. Shot a reporter.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. Reporter, for all you guys that are watching that didn't know about this, Lucas Kuntz and Adam Kinzinger, who's a Democrat pretending to be a Republican.
Yeah.
They went to a shooting range, and they were shooting high-powered rifles at a pistol range, and they were hitting AR-500 steel with an AR-15, and a piece of shrapnel comes back and hits a reporter. Like, that should have just been an end-all, be-all. And Josh Hawley actually came out and said, "I condemn violence against reporters and always."
Yeah, well done, Josh. Well done. But here's something: Tim Kaine is in a bit of a dogfight with his with a Republican, Hung Chow.
Hung Chow is awesome.
So
Don't look at me when you don't.
Dogfight.
Yep.
Wasn't Hung Chow the guy? He was was he a Marine or was he a Navy guy?
No, I think you're thinking of Wang Chung.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wrong guy.
Yeah.
Joy Reid calls Florida, of course.
Joy
Reid. Listen, if Trump wins, I want to listen to Joy Reid. Joy Reid might just explode. Joy Reid calls Florida an extreme right-wing fascist state.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that she called it
for Kamala.
I was like,
no.
what are we doing watching NBC? Let's get the view on here, man. Let's get some real election analysis.
Oh my gosh, they are going to become unhinged.
Fascist state.
Right-wing fascist state. Wow. Yeah. New York Times keeps moving the needle. 70. They have Trump winning. 70% chance of winning.
So let me ask you this: hypothetical situation.
Yeah.
Donald Trump loses.
Okay.
We got to start thinking, and this is where we tend to get ourselves in a pickle as conservatives.
Yeah.
We look at each election cycle, and theoretically, it would be J.D. Vance, in the next.
Oh yeah.
In the next election,
I would think so.
Do you think that would be the right guy for it? Because we got to start. If Trump wins, it's about a conservative dynasty. Like, you have to make things so good that people say, well, I can't really get rid of this. You know what I mean? But I mean, do you think J.D. Vance is the guy that
Trump has changed the party so much? Like, it is no longer the Bush Republican Party, because all those folks and Cheney and all them voted, or their staffers, I guess, voted for Kamala. So that's no longer it.
I feel like a bigger question even is, if I'm a Democrat tonight and I'm sitting here watching this unfold, right? If she comes back and wins because of the cities, okay, I still have to sit back and go, yeah, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Like, we can't be down 188 to 99 electoral college votes before the West Coast closes.
Right.
And live on a prayer.
No.
That we're going to make a difference. What I can't believe is that Virginia is a toss-up right now. That in and of itself should make them go, I mean, Georgia, North Carolina, all leaning Trump.
Yep.
That's a problem.
That's a huge problem.
And, we have our bellwethers in New York and everything else, but even New York is like, I don't know. I mean...
Well, and there's going to be,
I think J.D. Vance is going to be great. The party needs to really get its own identity outside of Trump.
Yes.
Moving forward, yes.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I don't think that right now is a fair, it's not the Democratic Party. Trump's going to come in and clean house.
Yep.
And he's going to put his people in because he learned from his last mistakes, right? So he has made a promise to come in and clean house, put my own people in, do it the way it should be done. And I think people are going to sit back, and it's either going to be a major success in a time of trouble.
Yeah.
Or he's going to get us through a time of trouble without getting involved in trouble.
Yeah.
Which would be a success.
Yeah.
I don't think it can't be. The stock market could crash, and it still would be better here than it's been for the past 4 years.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Nobody's coming for your guns. Nobody's coming for your womb. I mean, the fact that that's their platform, when he has repeatedly said, it's not the government's right, it's your state.
Yep.
I have nothing to do with that.
Right.
I mean,
well, when you're the Democrats and you continue, even after all of these things have been refuted, you continue to say that he's part of Project 2025. You continue to just say all this, the suckers and losers military comment.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
All of that stuff. And it's been refuted.
yeah.
And Democrats are coming out and saying it.
But listen, people believe it.
I know there's still people but it's just like, but more people are starting to see through the BS now.
Well, we're going to find out tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of uninformed people that don't do their homework, don't do their research, and take whatever comes out of the mouth of whoever's on MSNBC or NBC or ABC, and go, oh, that's wow, I can't believe he said that.
Well, that's like the person I was telling you about. That I know. You know, it sounded like it was coming straight from the mainstream media, all the typical talking points. And you got to look 2 and 3 levels deep on what the media tells you, or just ignore it. And you know, you got to get into some type of alternative media. Like you just have to.
Yep.
And even if you get a different perspective, and you know, kind of cock your head to the side on that one and say, I don't know about all that. It kind of forces you, if you're going to be an educated or not an educated, but an informed citizen, you kind of got to do some of your own research now. You can't take the word of the mainstream media on anything.
Yep.
Because it has become a conglomerate, a powerful conglomerate between the media and the federal government, well, between political parties and the media, and they're shaping a narrative to make you, because they want you on board. They want you fully on board with turning Puerto Rico into a state, with getting rid of the Electoral College. And they will craft the narrative however they have to make it sound enticing.
Right.
And you say, oh, well, that seems about right.
Yeah, that seems nice.
One person, one vote. You know, that sounds really, really good. And, you know, a lot of people will walk headlong into that type of authoritarianism. They'll walk headlong into a pure democracy and mob rule. And those are the ones that, you know, when you're standing in a bread line and they're wearing a Harris Walls T-shirt, you're kind of like,
thank you.
Yeah. How was that? How was
we
that?
Appreciate
one
you.
person,
Good
one
job.
vote.
One thing that'll be different, you know, after if Trump wins, and I mean, obviously this is his, even if he loses, this is his last time going through all this. One thing that's going to be different, the next Republican, I don't think you're going to have these folks saying, well, I'm just not going to, I'm not going to vote for him because I don't like him.
Correct.
They're going to have to come up with something else if you don't support the Republican candidate, because it's not going to be Trump anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So that'll be, I think we get more votes that way.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we'll see what the turnout
Yeah.
was for this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he had the highest turnout in the history of elections.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and still got beat.
They'll have to have reasons. They'll have to have actually educated reasons next time.
But, and this is the other half. What's the turnout tonight, and how in the world can we have the highest turnout in the history of elections and still lose?
Right.
Right.
And the answer is you can't.
Right. So, yeah, North Carolina, too close to call. Pennsylvania, too close to call. All right. You can call every other state with 30% of the vote in.
Yep.
These guys are too close. And that's right. You
Election alert on Fox. There's no way they called that yet. There's no, there's no way.
What they say? Polls closing? Polls
no.
don't close in Nevada for another 4 days.
Okay, so he went. Okay, so his numbers. What did he win then? Because his numbers are now on Fox. It's 205 to 117. So what did he win?
Well, they have
Utah.
Okay,
That's not a shocker, but you know, Utah, Montana. More of the
Wait, Trump won Utah?
more of the known ones.
See, the AP is way behind Fox. Fox is calling stuff pretty quick, you know, because we're getting
like it's way behind. Like it's
I mean,
And
AP's
NBC is at 81 electoral for Kamala and 201 for Trump.
Oh, so they're at 201. Okay,
201.
So
Yeah.
they're-
So everybody's using their own experts.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. You know what an expert is, though. X stands for unknown, and a spurt is a drip under pressure.
That's
so
it.
It's an unknown drip under pressure is what it is.
Interesting.
This is why we have you here.
This is
It
it.
is.
This is
yeah.
it.
Wisdom.
Yeah. So golly.
Man, all those counties, bro. They're all.
I mean, I don't know. 42% in, and it is literally neck and neck.
Look at that bottom right on Pennsylvania. Gracious.
Blue.
Philadelphia,
Gracious
Allentown.
sakes.
Yep.
Of
Pittsburgh.
course, now see. Can you look how close it is though on each
I
county?
can pull that up.
No, this one.
Okay.
This map doesn't let me go into that one.
Okay.
I should have pulled up a better interactive map.
I can pull it up here.
Okay. I should have hooked you in HDMI so that you could have thrown your screen up too.
So what do we got?
Senate's
This Iowa's making me nervous. I'll tell you.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, it's still only 14% in.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know,
I'll
I mean,
tell you
Iowa's
what.
one of those. If he doesn't get Iowa.
Kansas is still is still lagging there a little bit, and I'm not used to Kansas.
So if he doesn't get Iowa,
Yeah.
but he still gets because there's nothing else, and he still gets Arizona, and I'll show this up, pull this up so that everybody can see. But if theoretically speaking, if he still gets Arizona,
Yep.
but he doesn't get Iowa, and he gets Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, he's still over the mark, but just barely.
Well, here's the problem, though.
playing with
Pennsylvania is definitely not.
It's not a given.
No.
No, not at all.
No.
In fact, you've got your Lancaster County in Pennsylvania, 36% in, 55,000 Harris, 51 Trump. Chester County, 19,000 Harris, 15,000 Trump. They're close until you get to Delaware County, which is 56,000 for Harris, 25,000 for Trump.
Yeah. So, I mean, if he loses Pennsylvania, he's got to get Iowa, he's got to get Arizona, and he's going to have to pick up, let's see, if he gets Wisconsin, it puts him over, or if he gets Michigan, it puts him over. Those are the only, he's got to win Wisconsin or Michigan if he doesn't win Pennsylvania.
They're I'm just going to
Or he's got to flip Virginia.
See, okay, Virginia 61% in. He's up by 1.7%. And it's too soon. Watch Virginia. Not saying he's going to win it, but they're talking about it on Fox right now. And it's interesting. They've got to be wondering why they called it, but he's up by over 50,000 votes.
Yeah, he's over by 51,000.
Yep.
So far, it's got to be just where those votes are coming from. I mean, that's all I can.
Yeah, I mean,
I can pull it up and we can listen to them, but they're not talking about it right now.
You're good. You're good.
If they happen to pull it up, then we can pop in there.
There's places, the places I follow on Twitter are calling Nevada already for Trump.
Really?
Yep.
told you.
Yep.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That is shocking. It's
It
that
is.
early.
I know it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Loudoun's 95% in. So
Are they really?
yeah, so here's the interesting thing is that you've got Loudoun County was a big one in Virginia, and it's almost completed. So your big number Democrat strongholds are in the 70s, 80s,
Oh, yeah.
90s,
Yeah.
as far as counted.
Yep.
But you've still got some smaller counties, rural stuff, that are in the 50% in. So, the actual vote number could increase for Trump over the long haul because the big cities are reporting in and almost done. The counties are still coming. So,
I think if NBC is this far behind, I'm looking at the numbers, and you're saying
205 to 117.
right, and then NBC shows it. It was like I forget what it was. 168 to 62 is what they're saying for. Then AP is saying it's almost like, okay, are they just being that cautious, or are they trying to hang on for viewership?
I think both. No, I think both. I mean, I think that's why. Listen, I mean, I've said this almost this whole time. I think this is going to be something where people start trusting the Fox polls, the CNN polls, less and less and less, because there's going to be some stuff come up here that is not even, it's so tight. Some of these are not going to show it tight at all.
Yeah.
And so it's like, how much trust do we really put in the polls and I really truly think they keep it close so your viewers will stay engaged and just watch it all day. So,
man.
NBC exit poll suggests that Trump doubled his support from black votes in Wisconsin.
I mean, and that's the old adage, he had to win. Oh, what was the old percentage? I should have pulled that one
It
out.
was in the single digits.
Yeah.
I mean,
to win, if he got 15%, it was like, there's no way he could lose.
Right. 12 to 15, they were like, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And he's double that?
Yeah. And if he still loses, it's kind of like, okay.
Yes, exactly.
This is kind of defying all the odds. This is defying.
So they're looking at, let's see, Loudoun County's got 98% in. They're looking at it on Fox. She's up by 16%, which is not much in Loudoun County. they're really honing in on Virginia right now.
I would say
for
so.
good reason.
As
Yeah,
they
I would
should.
say
Very
so.
good reason. Okay, that might be a problem. Fairfax only got 62% in, so they've still got a decent amount to go.
Here, you want to listen in on NBC for a minute?
Yeah.
That gender gap is playing out right here. It's large with
They were
voters
talking
in the
about the
30s.
same thing
Of
the
men,
last time I turned it off.
59%
Was
going
gender
for
gap.
Trump,
Gender
39%
gap.
Gender,
going for
yeah.
Harris.
Jeez.
Women, 54% Harris, 44% Trump. He's continuing to close those margins. The other thing that's interesting about Michigan, of course, there's a 52,000 person campus, University of Michigan. Back in 2016, Trump only won by about 11,000 votes. On that campus, I actually anecdotally heard students energizing other students by saying, if only a fifth more of this campus were to have come out, it could have made a difference. So what does that look like right now? Who does that mean did better on those campuses if we start to see those margins be eat away at?
And
You
just
know,
recall back in
not that it's a huge
2016,
number,
Sorry, Hallie, you'll recall
but
in 2016.
They a lot of these colleges, they had lobbied to have more polling stations put on college campuses,
Yeah.
and to allow your student ID to be used in order to vote. And it's like, okay, so essentially someone in here on a student visa could go and vote as long as they've got a student ID. It's like anywhere they can grab a couple of votes, a few thousand here, a few thousand there.
Trump has been
mean, it's
very focused on that area.
gnarly.
He knows he's got to fix
New York Times now projects, and I mean, we all know how liberal the New York Times is, projects Trump to win the popular vote.
Wow.
Just the fact that they're admitting this already.
Wow.
I mean, that's
Well, that means we need to come out and be whooping and hollering when if Kamala Harris wins and we lose the popular vote.
that's right. I thought about that. I was like, that would suck so bad.
Yeah, we'd have to eat a little crow on that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, that's what it is.
Michigan.
Michigan.
Arizona polls just closed a half hour ago. Way too early to call there. It may well be days before we're able to call that one.
Days.
Wisconsin, another in the industrial Midwest. Too
so
early to
stupid.
call.
Hey,
Just
Wisconsin,
starting
too
get
early
the
to call,
votes
but that's a
counted.
good margin.
Pennsylvania,
It is.
Stop me if you've heard it before. It may
68%
all
in
come
North
down
Carolina.
to
He's up
Pennsylvania,
by
and it is
almost
too early
4.
to call, but
Wait,
about
no, almost
30%
5.
Of the vote there. North Carolina also.
That's funny that how the numbers are so different based on, so we're listening to NBC. CNN has got President Trump up in Pennsylvania right now, 50 to 49. NBC just called a totally different number. Harris was up. So if you scroll back, you can see if you're able to do that.
Yeah. Well, actually, this thing slowed down. Oop, here, we're not up to speed. That paused at some point. Oh, okay. Well, here we had old data.
Oh, shoot. Okay, so is that why?
Yeah, well, they've still got it at 201 to 91.
That's a lot. Okay.
That's a lot closer.
A lot closer.
I don't know when that thing paused.
The Trump campaign set out at the beginning of this race to expand the Republican Party. They knew they couldn't
He's
win
doing
the
better.
coalition. They
Sorry,
had
go
to
ahead.
get
Sorry, he's doing better in Philadelphia County. I mean, he's going to lose Philadelphia County in Pennsylvania, but like he's doing better than he did 4 years ago.
CNN just can't. They just can't. They cannot.
Oh, no.
It
No.
is ridiculous how, NBC has got the numbers for president. I got at 201 to 91 now.
Yeah.
CNN is like 81 to 172. Like they're not,
Right,
we're not going to get.
Jeez.
Georgia, 81% in. Trump's up by 5.
Wow.
That's almost 300,000 votes.
Let me see if anybody calls anything on this one. Any of my folks. I'm not seeing anything so far, but
Anybody out there watching, listening, have any comments about any of this stuff?
Oh, yeah,
Feel free to talk to us
comments
because
are
we're
open.
here. Let me just ask you a question. If, for those of you listening, if Trump loses this election, will you consider moving? We'll just put that out there.
move somewhere else.
Yeah.
Where else are you going to go, though? That's the thing.
Oh, exactly. Where are you going? I mean,
This is it. I mean, Venezuela, I hear, is beautiful this time of year.
Oh, downtown Seattle. It's popping off already.
oh boy, I bet it is.
Here we go.
Are they blowing things up down there?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
Dude.
It's already starting. Show an early lead. This is the thing.
Republicans aren't going to do this, okay?
No.
I mean, it's just not going to happen.
I was playing video of Portland, of DC. Everything is blocked up and boarded up. And here they are. They're starting already. These guys getting paid by whoever, George Soros or whoever's paying them.
Yep.
Shouldn't they actually wait? Here's my question is like, Antifa, shouldn't you wait to find out if your person wins? Because if Trump wins, you ain't getting bailed out.
Nope.
Kamala wins, you will. It's
Well,
not
and
a
if
big deal.
if Kamala wins, you have now destroyed parts of. Well, they don't
care about
They don't
that.
care. That's true. Yeah.
They just want to show unrest.
Oklahoma, the most red state in the entire country. All 77 counties were red.
Really?
Really?
All 77.
Really? So she won all of them. I'm just kidding.
Yes.
For the colorblind.
For the colorblind. Yes.
So Kamala wins Oklahoma, every one of them. If you're colorblind,
There is a colorblind person that voted
every
for
county
Kamala that
right
is
now that's
rejoicing.
like, doggone it.
Yep.
You know?
Total blue wave.
Yeah. Total blue wave.
I think it's important that we get the opinion.
Sort of extremist.
Joy Reid is an important commentator when it comes to the election, and we got to get an unbiased view out here. We're giving
We might as well. And
It's
what
a
better way?
pure Project 2025 in miniature in Florida, and that kind of extreme, sort of extremist, right-wing, fascist type government in Florida. Does that make it a more attractive place? It's a
Yes.
Thank you, Joy.
That's why everybody from New York's going there.
What is it? It's
Well,
amazing
they don't
to
know.
me.
Here's what it is. They don't know what fascism means.
No, the Project 2025.
Oh, well, that too.
It's just like there are NBC fact checkers have come out and said he is not part of this,
And kudos to them.
and that's great.
But if you repeat it enough, people believe it, right?
That's what Goebbels said.
It's the truth.
Repeat a lie long enough, and eventually
People believe it.
Yep.
So what they're doing is pulling a. Oh, they're pulling a play out of the Nazi playbook.
it certainly seems so.
Nazis.
Couldn't be.
Those Nazis.
Oh my gosh!
And Arizona counts fast as crap. Evidently, they've got about 50% in.
Good gracious, already?
I don't know how that's possible. She has a very narrow lead there.
How's Carrie Lake doing? That's what we want to
That's
see.
a good. Let me see.
See if you can find Carrie Lake's numbers, because
Let me go.
that
yeah, no, I can't.
that
find
one's huge. You know, as a veteran myself of a couple of decades,
I didn't know you were a veterinarian.
I am a veterinarian. Yeah,
Carrie Lake is down.
is she?
Okay.
She's down. Yep.
How much?
53%, 45%.
Okay.
Well, good.
49% of the votes in.
49. Oh, Lord. Okay.
They called it for Ted Cruz. NBC finally did. So I know Fox had
Okay.
already called it for him,
Yeah.
but that's now called.
Pennsylvania has 51% in. Trump has a 2% lead.
I still just don't get this. There's a big veteran vote that is wildly pro-Democrat. And
That is odd.
it's very, very odd. And I've watched a bunch of these guys, pose. They like to stand with their AR-15. They're vet bros, I love my fellow vet bros. I got no problem with them.
It's so weird.
However, to say I'm doing this for the Constitution, I'm doing this for rights and liberty, and I think, buddy, there's nothing about the Democrat Party anymore that is pro-Constitution. In fact, they tell you all the things that are wrong with it and how it needs to be changed. So it's just weird how I think it's part of that intellectual capture we were talking about, where you get around these big cities, you get around those people, and you become the average of the top 5 people that you hang out with.
Right.
And you get into a Seattle or a Portland or
Right.
whatever, and it'll take somebody who swore to protect and defend the Constitution to go and vote for a party who wants to upend and undo the Constitution.
Right.
It's really disappointing. It's really disappointing. And I chastise them at great length on X.
Good.
I hold absolutely nothing
You
back.
should. I don't understand how somebody can, first of all, I don't understand how somebody can see the direction and condition of the country
Yeah,
and say, you know what, 4 more years of this is a good idea.
right.
I just don't get it.
Nope.
I don't either.
Nope.
And I mean, okay, I hate Trump. Great. You hate Trump. Then vote for somebody else
Yeah.
Yeah.
or don't vote,
Yep.
because the alternative is 4 more years of this. And I told somebody that I love dearly who's so anti-Trump, and I said, "Look, I can't, my family can't afford this for 4 more years.
Yeah.
It's too hard to feed my kids." And I know there are a lot of people that are feeling that. And, I know we've already voted.
I'm not going to say this on air, but pass that around. Pass that around.
Oh, you know what's going to happen. I'm probably going to say it on air.
That's fine. I don't care.
need to
I
text-
don't care if you do.
Text it to me. I'll put it up.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, come on. Everybody gets a kick out of a little Mark Cuban.
Oh, God, that's hilarious,
That-
man.
I'll tell you what, that comment,
Text it
Okay,
to me.
I will.
that comment
We're putting it up. Most of our viewers, all you viewers on X, give us a like. We appreciate it. We've
Please.
got most of our viewers on X right now, and
that comment in and of itself about women.
Dude, what makes you think that and didn't even pause after he said it? It's like, that's what we're running with. Okie doke.
that's where we're going.
Man, that is.
Oh man. Yeah. Hey, so for all you guys that are, by the way, on here, if you're on X, be sure to go check out Braver Than the Rest, and they're on Rumble and YouTube, Facebook. They're on X too, but I could not get the X for whatever reason to work out on the live stream. So it's at Braver Rest. Braver Rest. I couldn't we couldn't get at Braver Than the Rest. That was already taken because it's a dadgum good name. So yeah, go over there and give them a follow.
Oh,
Also.
is that us though? We have Braver Than the Rest on. Wait,
Oh,
are you talking about on X?
on X? Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. I think that's me.
Oh, okay.
I'll double check.
Yeah,
We'll
double check
we'll
that
have
one.
to, we'll have to get
I
that
was putting it on
under
the-
wraps. Yeah,
Get that one under wraps.
yeah. Yeah, Braver Than the Rest. It was a podcast originally started, and it's still going. So we are excited tonight for the results of this next, and I'm going to call it. You guys are going to call me nuts, but I'm gonna say as fast as they're counting. I'm just gonna say, I think Arizona's going Trump.
Oh, I do too.
It's 49-50,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
and they are already at 50. How can Arizona, as a state, figure this out, but the cities can't?
Jeez.
Well, here's what I want to know. I still don't get it. If Carrie Lake is behind, Ruben Galejo is in the lead, and yet Donald Trump is in the lead.
Well, no, he's not. He's not. He's behind two. He's
Oh.
behind 49-50. So
Trump is.
Trump is behind in Arizona right now, but it's too early to call with 11 votes,
This is
11.
11 electoral votes.
Okay. I thought you were saying, I was like, wait.
No.
That's very accurate reporting.
This is I love Clay Travis. Y'all probably know who Clay Travis
Yeah, Clay
Oh, yeah.
Buck.
is.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
He's Nazi candidate Donald Trump has won 43% of the Jewish vote in New York.
Wow.
43.
Huge.
Wow.
That's huge.
That's massive.
Well, you know, the head of the Muslim organization in Minnesota, was it Minnesota? Came out and supported Donald Trump. It's all about trying to end the war in Israel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in Gaza, but with Israel.
How in the world, first of all, do you know?
It's huge.
Here's a great question for you. How do you know that he win the Jewish vote? How do you know they're Jews? How do you know, and what's considered a Jew anymore? Half Jew? Because if you marry a Jew as a man, she takes your name. You have offspring. That child is half Jewish. Are they classified as a Jew? And if they vote for Trump,
It's a lot to think about.
I think that's deeper than their analytics go.
That's
but I have thought that though. I like
Presumably, that's how they claim it on their driver's license. I guess I don't know when they're.
that Pennsylvania Senate is
your race?
so close.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I guess.
Jewish is not an option, right? It's you're Caucasian.
Yeah.
So how do you how did Hitler know when he was weeding them out? How did he know? I mean, neighbors would turn him in.
Mm-hmm.
I know the ones that lived in, their little areas. But what about the ones that had farms and owned farms? Last names?
I mean, presumably. That's a question. I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is they have an awful lot of data on ethnicity, background.
Well, now
all that
especially.
sort of stuff. Yeah.
now
There's nothing that's secret anymore.
No. Now AI knows all of it.
Yeah.
But
I'm interested to see. Well, go ahead.
Oh, I was looking at Polymarket
Oh yeah, what do they got?
odds. Let me get on. Hold on. Let me get it.
Pennsylvania right now is standing Trump 50.7, Harris 48.4.
Man, Polymarket 88 to 11.
Really?
88% to 11.
Whoa.
So betting markets 88 to 11.
Harris.
They have
I'm going to pull that one up.
They
Trump
have
has pulled ahead in Wisconsin 49.3 to 49.
Polymarket has Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, all going to Mr. Trump.
Wow. Here, I'll pull that up so everybody can see it.
I mean, that's
There it is. I mean,
okay. So it went up. It changes. It
well,
changes like second by second.
yeah,
So.
87-4 to. So they've got him winning Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Utah, Nevada.
Every swing state.
Wow, Michigan and Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
Goodness, I don't know about
Every-
that. Now, did you see the photo of Tim Walz at a fundraiser with the CEO of the Poly Market? Yeah, so I don't know if you know who heard of the Quartering. So he's got a podcast, and he came out really hard in the paint about it because people were relying, and I do it. I rely on the Poly Market quite a bit.
Yeah.
And he said if you're relying on the Poly Markets, either you're a paid operative or you're doing more harm than good, and this, that, and the other. And I was like, whoa, dude! Like it's a source of information. Nobody can predict this stuff.
That's what you say when you're nervous.
Right. And so I think he was just, and he's a very, very smart guy with a very successful podcast. So I'm not going to bash him for any of that. And I'm not bashing him. I'm just saying, they said, hey, didn't you see this photo of Tim Walz at a fundraiser with the CEO of Polymarket? It's like, yeah, but does that necessarily mean he's manipulating the algorithm? Yeah, I don't know.
Polls close in a half hour in California, Oregon, and Washington.
I'm just interested to see those how.
3 toss-ups.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gosh, it's neck and neck in Virginia.
It is, isn't it? I know.
crazy.
I know.
North Carolina, too.
Son.
Guys, I really wish I would have bought some Bitcoin when it was worth nothing because right now it's at an all-time high of 73,000.
Yeah.
Boy, if I would have known that,
I remember when people were
we
telling
would
me
be
about
debt-free. I mean, we would absolutely be debt-free.
I remember when
Dang.
people were talking about Bitcoin, and I thought that's the dumbest thing I've
I
ever
know.
heard.
That's what I thought.
I'm just narrow-minded.
Dang
I'm
it.
a good old I'm a good old boy from East Tennessee.
I just want to make a good. I want to make a good choice on something like that at least once.
Right. It's like a big winner. I mean, now, did you hear about the guy that early on with Bitcoin, he had 10,000 Bitcoin?
Yes.
And he bought a pizza with it.
Yeah.
This is when it was worth pennies.
Yeah, dude.
And if that guy still has it, I think it was worth something like 150 million. Or,
Oh, yeah,
I don't
man.
know what it was. Some monstrous number. Man.
But when you're hungry, that's what they say. A piece of bread will buy a bag of gold in the end times.
Oh, yeah.
That's,
yeah.
I mean, he was that hungry.
When you're hungry, old pizza pie will.
And Ben, you made a comment about making decisions. I think you have made some really good decisions. You've married a beautiful wife.
Oh, absolutely.
You got a Toyota. So I commend you. I think
Thank you. Appreciate it.
when I look at people in my life that are there, you're one of them.
We decided to go with two kids at once instead of one.
Yeah. Well, and that I commend you for that too.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't take that risk. I'm glad you did. So
Didn't know if I was up for it, but evidently I am.
yeah, you're good.
Yep.
Yep.
Things seem just kind of stagnant right now.
Yeah.
Fox hasn't called anything in a while.
There's a lot out there. I'm watching. A lot's too close to call, even though it's technically. I'm kind of like, yeah, that's. Why aren't you calling that?
Marco Rubio has come out on Twitter and said, guys, it's time to call North Carolina and Georgia.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, when you've got North Carolina reporting in at 83% and Trump's up by 3 points, call it. Georgia, same. Georgia's 85% in. Trump's up 3 points. Call it. But, hey, we don't want to do that because then the election's almost over.
that's right. It's exactly. And we have to cut our show very short.
Yep. Ratings go down, listen, in the second hour, we got Hannity coming on. And like,
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah.
no, it doesn't work that way. Just call it, get it over with.
New York Times now bumps Trump to +2 in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Bumps him to 2.3 in Michigan.
Whoa.
That's a
see.
bold.
Yeah,
Bold
NBC
choice
NBC has him down
Yeah.
in Michigan.
That's a bold choice. I think New York Times is just throwing in the towel there. Ah, Virginia, Tim Kaine. Dang it, for the Senate.
you
Okay,
serious?
Josh Hawley. Yeah, by like 2.something%.
They've called it already.
Yeah, they've called it.
You know, so the FCC rules about airtime. Did you hear about that on
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live?
Oh, yeah.
So they got on Kamala Harris about it.
Yeah.
And I mean, Tim Kaine. Nobody knows Tim Kaine, and he got this unedited airtime to come and say, "I'm running for Senate," and it's like, okay, look, now that is an obvious, attempt to sway some additional voters and get people that probably weren't even paying attention to it.
Yeah.
Oh, he was funny on SNL, so I'm going to vote for him. Like,
Yep.
come on, if that's how you're making a vote, first off, you probably ought not be voting.
Exactly.
Let's be perfectly honest. But yeah. So what are y'all going to do then tomorrow while all this stuff is moving slowly and we're waiting for them to try to make some calls? What do you do tomorrow? Donald Trump loses. If he does, I'm giving hypotheticals here.
I'm going to go set fire to a dumpster, I think. I've always wanted to do that. And
You've always wanted to set fire to a dumpster.
Well, because, the term, it's a dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire, yeah.
Well, I've never seen a dumpster fire. So when people say that, I'm kind of like, I don't really know what that means. So is that bad or is that good? Does it keep you warm?
Right.
Is it,
Right.
a lot of questions about the dumpster fire. So I figured, hey, if Trump loses, this is a great opportunity to set fire to a dumpster because nothing's going to happen to me. It's not like they're going to arrest me or anything.
It's true.
Especially as a African American bisexual.
Oh,
They are
gosh.
gay who
Why'd you have to go there?
who identifies as a banker. They're gonna leave me alone. Especially if I'm wearing my cat costume when I do it.
Well, at least we're on X. You can see.
Meow.
Meow.
If I'm asked, what are you doing? I'm gonna go meow. Meow, meow, meow.
Because that's all you say. Yes.
So did you guys see the video of the police officer that pulled over somebody who was catting at the time?
No.
Oh, it's classic. Where the guy says, I identify as a cat. I don't carry my ID with me. And the guy's like, so you're driving. The officer was very good about it, and basically was like, well, so you're a stray cat. So why don't you just sit here while I call animal control to come and get you?
Oh yeah, and then we'll find out if they're going to euthanize you.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
Yeah,
now,
genius.
okay. Now that
Yeah.
yes, I think I saw the
Genius.
tail end of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very well done.
Now, I mean, in all seriousness, I think that a lot of folks, they're gonna, if it happens, I don't think it's going to. I'm extremely positive about how this is going to go.
Oh, I'm
tonight.
feeling pretty dang good.
But
Yeah.
if there's folks that are thinking, okay, it's 10:30 at night, I'm ready to go to bed. Look, don't sweat it. Like, yeah, if Donald Trump loses, it's going to be bad. Like, it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
there's no positive course.
You've
of
got 4 years to suffer.
So
We don't
right.
need to start tonight. You know
Right.
what I mean?
we've,
Right.
we've done it these past 4
These past
years.
4 years, yeah, we'll make it. We're going to make it through. There's hope. There's always hope. Jesus is coming, and he might come sooner.
Oh yeah.
But I will say, to your, what do we do tomorrow? If Trump loses, what do we do tomorrow?
We get back to work.
Yeah. I mean,
We go back to work.
that's right.
Yeah.
Now, if Kamala loses, the question is, what do we do tomorrow when Kamala loses?
Yeah.
Because
We keep working.
we try to go to work.
Yeah.
We try to live life as normal as we can. We might have to go a different route because, they'll be holding hands across our road to block it,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, there's people that are going to see if
point.
if Kamala loses. I do feel for the people in D.C., in
Absolutely.
Seattle, in
In the
Portland,
cities.
in
If
Chicago.
I mean, if you're
Bad juju.
if you're a normal, this doesn't mean to sound bad, but I mean, it's going to. If you're a normal person, like of a normal just reasoning. And I mean, I wouldn't live in Portland or Seattle for anything. I would go, you can still be in the state of Washington or Oregon. Don't be there. I mean, because your life is going to be hell.
Yeah.
If that
you got
happens.
if you're out in the Pacific Northwest, I just came back from there. It's beautiful. Beautiful country.
Yeah.
First of all, you live in probably one of the most beautiful places
Oh, yeah.
ever. But if you're in the city, just leave. Just go stay with some friends in the mountains.
Yep.
Just go stay somewhere else.
Yep.
Just till this blows over. And that's if you're a Democrat or a Republican, because they actually don't care.
Right.
So, when this stuff breaks out and hits the fan, they're not going to care who you voted for. You're not protected because you voted for Kamala.
Right.
There's a group, there are these survival groups out there, and they're communities that kind of do what most neighbors should do if you're preparing for a disaster or something like that. You've got folks that you can kind of coalesce around, and you can share resources and protection and all that stuff. Make a community think Armageddon, right? That horrible end times sort of thing. And they just in preparation for this election, they said, all right, everybody, this is for at least a period of time. Let's go to our predetermined locations and hunker down. And I think a lot of those folks are in urban areas, but they're and found refuge outside of that. But they're saying, all right, let's go ahead and prepare for it, because this is, I mean, you're going to have, if Donald Trump loses, you are going to have a contingent that's saying, all right, it had to have been stolen. There's no way that he got this many votes and he still loses. Yeah. So where's the fraud? Where's this, that, and the other? And you're going to have a contingent that if Kamala Harris loses, is going to say Donald Trump stole the election. It's because of this. It's because of that. And in response, their militant wing, being Antifa and BLM, are going to burn down cities and loot and destroy and wreak havoc.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean it's. But that's going to be a temporary thing. And I think for us as conservatives, we know we're going to get Donald Trump into office, and we're obviously very confident about it tonight, and hopefully over the next 3 days when we actually find out what the final result is. This is not going to stop for us. It's not like we can just take a breather and quit.
Right.
We got 4 very tough years ahead.
Yeah.
Being conservative, being Donald Trump supporters, and I think we're going to have to give a little grace to him as well, because the uphill fight that he had to fight over 4 years is not all of a sudden going to be gone.
Yeah.
And there we go. Yep. So it's not like it's all of a sudden going to be gone and it's smooth sailing through his 4 year. No, they're going to try to continue the lawfare. They're going to try to continue to crush the guy. They're going to try to stop every one of his policies all along the way. This is going to be a huge fight for a 78-year-old guy.
It is.
And we have to stay active in it, is all I'm saying. And, I feel for the guy that there's nobody else that could do it with the level of experience, grit, and determination.
Well, and I think that's what
at his age.
I think that's what you're touching on, something that I think we forget about. He has experience. He's done this before.
Yeah.
He's been the president.
Yeah.
And when he talked about draining the swamp, and the reality that he didn't drain it the first time, he made it hard on him. But this time he's like, no, I actually know now I'm going to go in and do what I said I was going to do. Now that I know who these people are, now that I know how incredibly deep this rabbit hole is, right?
Yeah.
He's going to go in and replace everybody. And that's his right to do it. And that's what needs to happen, because right now in control are people that are not elected officials. They're government, they're paid people. It's like Fauci.
Right.
We did as a nation what one guy who's paid wasn't selected, wasn't voted in. It's the same concept as who's the guy that decided that it was a good idea to modify our corn and modify our broccoli and genetically. I didn't give you permission to do that. I didn't vote for that.
Yeah.
Where do you have the right to do that? Well, those are the people that he's going to get rid of.
Yeah.
And so
And there's going to be a strong antibody reaction to that. You know, when you've got a deeply ingrained political system.
Yes. Well, that's assassination attempts are the result of,
Yeah.
And I hope and pray that J.D. Vance is, he surrounds himself with people that are like-minded and gets rid of some of those. It's not going to matter if he stays in for 4 years or if he, God forbid, somebody takes him out. His people are going to stay in, and they're going to keep doing the same thing. You're out.
There was some Kamala pack that played this just dystopian AI-generated video about, it was from the perspective of a Donald Trump. It was one of the most dishonest things I've ever seen. But you could kind of tell that it was AI video. And it was, I thought I was voting to drain the swamp, and I thought I was voting for this, that, and the other. And then it said, but then once Trump got sick and J.D. Vance was granted the power of the presidency, he used the military. And they started naming all these names of people and brought him in to institute martial law. And they thought that climate change was just fake. And you see this person standing with cities burning. I mean, it was this dystopian. And I thought, there are people that will watch that and
believe it.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah,
people believe it.
That's exactly what will happen if Donald Trump is elected.
Yep.
Oh,
people
wow.
believe it.
So, little update.
Yeah.
In Pennsylvania, Trump's up by about 3% with almost 60%. North Carolina, he's up by
See, I got Pennsylvania right now.
2.5.
I got Pennsylvania right now at 83% in.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So, see, I've got 57% reporting.
Oh, election alert by Fox. Oh,
Polls closed.
he won Iowa. We knew that.
Oh, okay.
So he's
he did win Iowa.
he's at 211 to 117.
I thought that
currently.
seemed a little odd if he wasn't going to win Iowa.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Well, that is fascinating. Okay, it just
they've
it's
got
58% in,
Yeah.
and Trump's up.
yeah, he's up 51
48.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yep. Sorry, I keep stepping on you.
No, you're good. I'm used to it. I'm short, so I don't know why you're laughing over
man.
there.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, it's
So here's what's crazy right here. So 68% of New York is in. She's at 58 to 41. That's for New York. That is very close.
Oh, he's performing.
He's in the 40s in
he's
New York.
performing very well in New York.
yeah.
Yep, he's performing very well in New York.
Golly.
Wow. Now that's the other thing. A lot of people probably relate to him because of his personality and that sort of thing. He's got.
Right.
I mean, he's a New Yorker through
Yeah.
and through, and so he's only able to capture that much of New York. I mean, that's something that a J.D. Vance is would never be able to repeat. I
Right.
don't think. Unless some dire situation or some extreme situation, he could never repeat a 40-something odd percent. Clint Russell, y'all know who Clint Russell is.
Not off the top of my head.
He's an interesting guy, but he just posted this. He said, "We're getting close. I can feel it."
Elon Musk just tweeted out game set match.
Oh, Elon did.
Yep.
Oh wow. I mean, I just feel it, guys. I don't
Oh, I
know.
do. Oh, I do
mean,
too. I'm not.
It's in the numbers. It's not. I mean, honestly, it's not as. It's closer than I thought it was going to be so far.
Yep.
But I don't know, man. I'm feeling the vibe. But
Oh yeah.
no, Clint Russell's hilarious.
Well, our old stomping ground in Weld County.
Was that New York?
No, it's Colorado.
Oh, okay.
So many places, so little time, but they leaned heavily Trump, and then you go over to Boulder County, and it's
I bet it's
80%
Yeah.
Harris.
That's so wild how close people and just like when you cross over when I go to exit 7 and cross over to Virginia, it's like you just start seeing Harris Wall signs. I mean, it's like
And you have to be careful how you drive because they suck.
yeah, yes.
So, but here's if there isn't a greater reasoning for the Electoral College than this, it just is like, okay, hub of people, 80% one candidate,
Yeah.
right? And I don't know how you can. So 80% of the people in this city voted for one candidate.
Yeah.
That was where was it? It was in Colorado.
Yeah, Boulder County. It's granola central. Yes, if you're listening, friends from Colorado, I just love friends from Colorado. Boulder it's totally granola. It's so bad. It's beautiful, except for some of the left-leaning policies have made it not as good as it should be. And here's the thing. Those policies, if you live under them, how can you like them? How do you go, yeah, you know what? This is good. I like this.
Right.
This is really good.
Yep.
I mean, San Francisco, LA, I frankly love driving by piles of garbage with homeless people.
Exactly. Yeah. And isn't it amazing how fast they can clean it up when somebody important is coming through there?
Yeah.
Well,
But the rest of the
from
time,
China, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The rest of it-
Newsom just magically. Oh golly.
I'm thinking not to change the subject, but so by the time 2028 election comes around, we should probably be over that 1 million subscriber mark. So
Absolutely.
I'm thinking by then I am going to get one of those screens. That'd be a pretty nifty thing.
Dude, I'll tell you, if we
tell
could
you
do
what.
an interactive screen, holy moly.
Yeah, so here's a challenge for our listeners. Help us to get the screen.
Yeah,
Man,
that's it.
We need 1 million of
we
you.
can start a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
There you go.
But I'm saying if we had the screen, it'd be good for so much stuff. It wouldn't just be for the elections.
We would use it.
We could watch All Star Wrestling. We could do all kinds of really, really great stuff.
I might have to settle for one off of Temu.
Hey, you know what?
I'm gonna tell you right
Go
now.
on
Temu,
Alibaba and find one.
That's right.
let me tell you, Temu gets some good stuff.
Really? I've heard about the scams on Temu.
Well, I mean both. All right,
Katie has
both.
gotten some decent now. Whether it'll, stay like I don't know. It's quality. Some things last longer than you would think. Overall quality on Temu is probably not so good.
So I got a Glock sweatshirt from Temu.
I thought you were going to say you got a Glock.
No, I wouldn't buy a Glock from Temu.
I was trying to say.
But I did get a sweatshirt, and it says Grok. No, it says Glock. I'm just kidding. But the print is really bad, and the design is really. I mean, it's Glock font. Everything's good. It says Glock down the sleeve. But then for some unknown reason, they decided to put an American flag on the lapel. It says USA. It's like, no, I didn't need that. I just want the brand.
Yeah.
I just want the brand, especially because the flag's shiny and everybody can look at it and be like, is that an iron-on? What is that? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you know how it is.
It's got to be matte.
It's going to be a work shirt. It's just going to be
Yeah.
a work shirt.
Yeah.
Because Dirt doesn't care if I like
No?
Grok.
Nope.
So
This is one that, by the way, that we needed to. Was it Idaho? Which was the one that was that I'd said was super close from? But it's. I mean, they're closing soon. Polls are closing soon. Nothing's obviously been. Results are expected for them around 11 p.m.
this is long enough.
She's
cast.
starting to
Close the gap in Pennsylvania.
no, she's starting to run away. Well, maybe she's starting to run away. The gap's getting wider in Virginia. So she's up 1.5 now, which is still just
Not good.
crazily close.
Yeah,
I mean,
not
that's fine. I'm cool with that.
That's
perfectly
actually
cool with that.
I'm not. I want him to flip Virginia.
I would love it,
Man,
but
he flips Virginia. So if he flips Virginia, he gets Pennsylvania. He gets. Well, okay, that in and of itself.
I
mean,
would
if he
I would
flips
love him to get
Virginia,
into the threes.
That would be
Beautiful. That's a
Beautiful.
it's a landslide.
So without Virginia, he could get into threes if he gets Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona,
Yep.
Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
That puts him at 287. It wouldn't happen unless he gets a Michigan.
Wisconsin.
If he gets Michigan or Wisconsin, it'll put him in the threes. Or well, no, if he gets Michigan, it'll put him in the threes.
Yeah.
And if he gets Wisconsin, it puts him just shy at 297.
Well, I mean, at this point, North Carolina and Georgia are, I think,
I would say pretty much.
any minute they're going to go red.
Yeah. He's up He's up over 2.5% in Pennsylvania with 61%, 62% now in.
Yeah.
He's up a percentage and a half in Wisconsin with 56% in.
You want to listen in on NBC for a minute?
Minnesota, he's
Oh,
up
no.
with 6% in. He's up
25% in Michigan. He's up 1.5.
He's up 30% in Minnesota.
Call it now.
Call it.
Yes.
Just get it over with.
2 million votes remaining. 2.8 million left.
How do they know that? That's crazy.
I mean, it's all electronic. I guess that's
okay.
that's a benefit of electronic, but
That's actually nice.
man, it's 2.5 million votes left.
Arizona it's 50% in, but it's
It's
razor thin right
They're dead heat.
now. Man.
In Arizona.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is really kind of
Oh yeah,
surprising.
49.7 to 49.5.
Yeah.
That's close. Wow. Golly. Ruben Galejo is 52 with 49% reporting. Oh,
You know, Carrie Lake is great.
Mm-hmm.
And we like her.
Yep.
But she's also an abrasive woman.
Oh, very.
And there are people that doesn't rub the right way. Well, here's the thing. She's the same as Trump. I mean,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
So-
in a lot of ways.
So you look at it and go, okay, how many people aren't voting for Trump because they don't like him as a person?
That's a huge chunk of it, I think.
And he's got 4 years of good, solid leadership behind him. But they don't like his tweets and they don't like who he is. But
Well, and
they
the
like
media-
his policies. They like the gas prices. They like the price of milk. They like the fact that chicken factories weren't burning up. They liked all that,
Yep.
but they just don't like him. She doesn't have a history of success to back her up. She just has abrasive.
Yeah, but neither does Ruben Galejo. I mean, what? He's a veteran. Fine. That and $5 will get you a cup of coffee.
But
if
he's
you're
not
a
so.
bad-
Have you? I saw an interview with him and her. It was not a town hall or anything, but it was like I've watched her, and then you watch him. He's definitely a softer side, and so people might be leaning towards him, even though they're going to vote for Trump.
Yeah, that's the beta males, I think, is who's voting for Ruben Galejo.
So yeah,
You're a beta
yes.
male. If you say I need a soft leader, I need a soft, kind,
Totally get it.
gentle.
But I'm just saying this is why I'm not going to lean on. I'm not going to say that the Carrie Lake vote is a reflection on Trump.
Right.
Because even though he endorsed her, she endorses him, all of those things, she is definitely a very outspoken woman. Her opinions are just, she lets you know. I appreciate that. No problem with it. He's a politician more than she is.
Yeah.
And some people might be like, he's not so bad. You got a stink bug on your shoulder. Dear Lord, it could have killed you.
So it's funny. Trump has, gosh, why do I keep doing this? Fox has, I don't even know if they said this really. Fox has taken the Harris win off of Virginia for the time being.
Good for them. That's the right thing to do.
That absolutely is.
It's too close to call. Minnesota, 10% almost. 61% Donald Trump. That'll change.
Oh, yeah.
Georgia, Pennsylvania, too close to call. Even though the numbers are, it's going to take a miracle for her to swing those two. They're too close to call.
The exit polls of Latinos in Michigan, 60% Trump, 35% Harris.
65. Wait, and where was
The
it?
exit polls
60?
in Michigan
I-
of Latinos,
65% Trump.
60 to 35%.
Whoa, is that on X?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Can you send that to me?
Yep.
Send that to me. Goodness, some of these exit polls have been pretty wild.
And so, at the risk of sounding dumb,
Oh, Donald Trump just went up to 90 in the poly market.
did he really?
Wow.
Oh shoot. Okay. What's the there it is. That looks like Joe Biden's gain during the middle of the night. Like, look at that. Oh, what is the exit?
When
Who'd you vote for?
essentially, yeah. Once you're leaving, they ask you questions.
Oh, okay,
Because
okay.
they can. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just to gauge. I mean, they can get all kinds of demographic data and all that stuff off of it. Let's see. Did you text that to me?
I'm getting that. Had to trim off some other stuff there. There we go.
President Biden won't attend Kamala's election watch party.
Yeah, I heard about that. The party is divided, man.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. If they try to say that they do not like each other.
No.
They do not. Oh, man. And he is so ticked. Dude,
Do you think
he's
the Trump
so
hat thing
mad.
was intentional? You see the Trump?
Yeah, I saw. Yep.
Do you think that was intentional?
It could have been Jill Biden wore an all red suit to vote today as well.
Did he really?
She did.
Jill Biden did.
Oh, Jill did.
All red. Oh, yeah.
And she, you know.
And you know that,
She is.
you know.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just wear.
I'm going to tell you, if they were smart, they would have put her up. They would have had her run.
Jill?
Yes.
Boy, that would have been something.
She is.
That would have been something.
She is sharp. She's been the president for the past 4 years. So,
Yeah.
right?
At least a couple of them, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Real Daily Wire, Trump is projected to be the winner of Georgia. Daily Wire.
So,
Oh, he's up.
say that again.
Daily Wire calls North Carolina for Trump.
Oh, wow.
Daily Wire calls Georgia.
He's up 3% in Georgia with 90% in.
Joe Rogan just
Oh, God. What?
he posted something. I got to put this up. Y'all got to see this.
Oh,
The
Lord.
electoral map if you're at a Diddy party.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, hold on. I want to take a screenshot.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Oh, Joe Rogan for the win. Oh,
Oh,
gosh.
man.
I can
Man.
text it to you.
Trump. How much is in Michigan? Okay. That's still pretty early, but he's up over 3% in Michigan right now.
Who is?
Trump.
Oh, wow. You got it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is why I love X, y'all. I mean,
I know.
You can free speech
great.
is such a wonderful thing, and it's yeah. I mean, you can essentially say what you want, do what you want, and it's pretty glorious.
Well, I know everything's all about election right now, but man, the more and more you hear about this Diddy mess,
It's
Oh, it's nuts.
it's gonna take some people down.
It's gonna be. It's gonna be some big names and stuff. It's gonna shock people. It really is.
do you think Diddy's list is probably going to come out,
Oh yeah.
or chunks of it. Do you think
Yeah.
the Epstein list ever will?
It will if Trump's elected,
That's what he says.
and he is a man. He does what he says he's
Yeah.
gonna do.
It's yeah.
So-
I mean, in the names that we would be talking about, man. She is. Oh, well, never mind. It's not a whole lot in. Sorry. The names on this, from what we have heard, if that's true, it's like the whole music industry.
Yeah.
It's
and LeBron.
oh yeah, buddy.
I saw, and I don't know if this is true or not because it came out on. It was an Instagram post, and you never know. But I guess he wrote a thing about how he did have an experience with P. Diddy, and which isn't shocking.
No, it's pretty telling to see all these celebrities that came out in support of Kamala. Those are probably the ones that are on the list.
Kamala's probably on the list.
Kamala is most
Yeah, there's-
definitely on the list.
So
There's a theory that a lot of these people came out and supported her simply because they
Oh, yeah.
they know
it's
they're
like
going to
a-
get let off.
yeah,
Absolutely.
It's like, okay, I got to get her in. Because
Here's a
she's not
question:
gonna
Do you
release
think
the list.
Biden is going to let his son off before he's out of office?
Nope.
He said he wouldn't,
I don't think you will.
and I don't think he will either.
Really
Because
don't.
as much as I don't care for him, I think he'll stick to his word on
There
that.
is a better chance. I'll say this. There's a better chance. And this is, y'all may not agree with this. Better chance of Trump pardoning him than Biden pardoning him.
You think so?
Yep. Because do I think in the end that Trump does it? No. But how uniting would that look if Trump did that?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So
It would look uniting, and then especially if he was like, you know, we're going to let you off, but you owe us $40 million.
yes,
All the money that you
Yeah.
took,
yeah,
that you and your dad made.
Yep.
I want it.
yeah,
That would be the right thing.
giving it to Barron.
Yeah, totally.
The let's see, 212 to 119 right now.
I
I don't
got
know what he added. He was at 211.
210 to 91.
He was at 211 and got one more. There's no state that has one electoral vote, right?
Alaska?
No, Nebraska has one because you get the.
Oh, that's right. Those little
they split 'em
Yeah,
up.
dude, gotta hate that, man.
Yeah. Well,
that's
and
so
Maine too.
confusing.
Maine
Yes.
Maine does it by
Like sections.
like their district.
But you know, not for nothing.
Yeah,
All right. That's great. Split them up.
82% into the New Jersey, but obviously it's already been called for Kamala. 82% in, and she has a 6% lead.
Where
New
at?
Jersey.
New Jersey.
Wow.
That is very thin for there. So, which is, I mean, it's just a representation of how things are going at the moment.
Yeah, I'd really thought like
I thought
in this one. I mean, I'm fine with the win anyway. We get a win. I'll take it. Whatever they want
Yeah.
to give us, or whatever the American people give us. But I was really hoping to get something just absolutely out of this world, and maybe we haven't gotten there yet. Maybe it'll. Yeah, part of me always thought that it would take some really horrific situation to kind of pull us back together again. You know, like we need a depression to get people to start voting the right way. We need bread lines. I don't wish that on us, but I'm just saying, like,
But we kind of are almost there.
we're close.
So I don't know what, you know, because there's a group of people that vote their feelings. If we weren't so soft as a nation, you know what we need? It's actually we need a war on our turf to harden people up.
Yeah.
And then people be like, you know what? I'm not worried about my womb. I'm not worried about my woman's right to choose. I'm worried about my family. I'm worried about my husband going to. I'm worried about eating.
Yeah.
I mean, we need something harsh, and then people will go, you know what? Yeah, my feelings don't matter.
Yeah.
This is a stunning. This guy has a lot of updated stuff. This guy George is his handle on, or his name on X.
Just George.
Just that guy in the middle there.
Yeah.
Actually, it's at something, but his name's just George on there. Anyway, read that what he put.
CNN says the Kamala Harris headquarters is in complete silence, searching for bright spots as results come in. They're losing hope. Reality is starting to settle in.
When they start saying reality is starting to, they're done. Like
Yeah.
their morale is toast.
I mean, you can't imagine that a Kamala Harris is going to come out and bring some groundswell of support. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Like, that's just not realistic.
it was never going to, election alert for Fox. This might be a big one.
Polls.
Oh,
closing
no,
California.
they called California for Kamala. That's not big. Okay, they had to, okay, so now she is, it's jumped from, of course, that's a ton of votes for her.
Oh, yeah.
145, 214 is what I got.
216 to 193 on my end.
Okay.
So that's not a,
That's not a shocker.
I just don't think she's going to get a whole lot more than that, guys.
How can you call California with 0% in?
I know.
But they do. This is what we do.
I mean,
Well, that's crazy because have the polls even closed yet?
there's, were they 3 hours away?
Yeah.
They probably just
Yeah,
closed.
they just closed.
Oh, yeah.
At
Okay.
8.
But they still haven't called Washington and Oregon yet, which is just really.
McCormick is leading by over 1.5% in Pennsylvania. 67% in. That's for the Senate. Yeah. That's good. 216, 193. Dude, I love this stuff. And obviously I'm liking it right now because, you know, it's going the way I would like it to.
Right, right. Ben Owens, are you watching Fox News? I'm not, but Ben is. There's another Ben on here that's
Yeah, buddy.
putting that out on X. Oh, man. Trump at Georgia. I mean, good gracious. Just in, Jake Tapper visibly stunned after seeing a massive swing of 20 points with independents from Biden in 2020 to Trump in 2024 in Georgia. Oh, let's play because I love getting stunned silence.
4 years ago with independents for Biden
Watch this.
to now. Trump is winning them by 11 points in these early exit poll results, 54% to 30%. Jake, 4 years ago, Joe Biden won independent voters in Georgia when he won the state by 9 points. So we've seen a swing of 20 points towards Trump in terms of the margin, from 9-point advantage 4 years ago with independents for Biden to now an 11-point advantage with independents for Trump in Georgia. Jake.
Wow. David Chalian. And Dana, that is really significant. We see some incremental changes here and there when it comes to young voters. She's doing slightly better. Non-college whites, he's doing slightly better. But that independent swing is wild.
It's a huge.
Yeah.
Dum dum. I don't know. I'm not gonna count the chickens before they hatch.
Oh, Jessica Tarlov's talking on. I know, on Fox. I bet she's just in complete disarray.
Yeah. They did. So it looks like they have called Washington.
Okay.
At least AP has.
Yeah.
So, oops. Here, let's go to screen share. There we go. Yeah. So AP has called Washington in favor of Harris. California, obviously. Colorado, obviously. New Mexico, yeah. I mean, that's 68%, 66%. He's not going to win New Mexico.
What's the numbers on New Mexico?
New Mexico is Kamala Harris 52.7, Donald Trump 45.4, and that's about roughly 100,000 votes difference. Maybe not quite that. It's less than that because it's Trump at 279, Harris at 324.
It's like 50,000 or
so.
so.
50,000 votes or so.
Yeah. Our friend Amir posted breaking news: the Harris campaign is preparing a concession speech.
How do they get any insiders that happen to pop on here and see Continue Freedom and Braver Than the Rest simulcast?
Boy.
Give us a call because we'd love to have somebody inside of these campaigns.
Somebody in the know.
Wow.
Man.
I wonder if she'll come out with joy.
They must know something about
They have to.
Yeah.
I mean, to be folding.
I mean, they've got to have a prediction about Pennsylvania.
Man.
Where the votes are still left to be counted. I mean, we could listen in on NBC, but NBC's not going to really give us the.
Why on earth have they not called? I mean, Georgia and North Carolina have
Let's see
just
what they're
been
saying about Arizona
sitting there.
Hang on.
Still very, very early, 11 electoral votes. As we get information, we'll sort of dissect it and figure it out, but it's going to be a while before we call Arizona, Savannah, as you know.
All right. Thank you, Tom. We got our panel here. We got Chuck. We got Savannah Sellers over here. Chuck, what are you making of what we're seeing, what the trend lines are?
There's a reason why there's anxiety in the Harris camp and growing enthusiasm and optimism. I mean, all the trend lines, this looks a lot more like 2016 to me.
Boy, doesn't
than
it.
it does 2020. And you're seeing whether it's rural turnout surging up, but we've had to up our projection of total turnout in Georgia than what we saw. And as we'd been saying, and we'd seen this, higher turnout was always going to be better for Trump. Not, there's always been this pre-Trump era conventional wisdom used to be Democrats would perform better, but he has the sort of the occasional voter. And it looks like, and we're actually even seeing evidence of what I call these shotgun Trump voters.
What's an
They come
occasional
in, they vote
voter?
Trump, and they leave because there's about 100,000 vote gap. I mean, the Democratic Senate candidates in the blue wall are all in better shape right now than Harris.
And did Republicans crack the code of early voting and finally glomming onto that, even though Donald Trump is sending a separate message?
Well, one might argue now, if you look at the 3 Trump elections, 1, he obsessively made sure people didn't vote early. 2, he didn't. 1 was at 16, and then it's this one. So you may be onto something, but I do think the bigger story is their ability to expand the electorate. He used to have a ceiling of about 47, 48. That's not the case tonight. He expanded it another point or 2. That's significant. As we know, in a razor-thin environment, even if you're just adding 50,000 to your voter rolls, well, that's the difference between winning and losing. Half the blue wall. I heard your Dallas Cowboys thing. I mean, there you go, right?
Want me to do it again?
Yeah, I mean,
it also works for Lambeau Field. That the last 4, literally, the election.
a better stadium to pick. You don't want to have a losing team.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I don't know.
New York Times, 87% that Trump's going to be the next president of the United States.
Wow.
With
Georgia Georgia is at 3% with 88%. I mean,
both House and Senate red. Boy, that would be a sweep.
I mean, I'm telling you, like that.
Well, here's the thing. So if that happens, we lose Cocaine Mitch, right? He's not going to be around anymore.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of conversation about who's going to be speaker, Senate Majority Leader. And if we get we've got to get somebody in there that's not one of the uniparty guys, not one of the establishment guys, because we've had the presidency, the House, and the Senate, and we got diddly squat done.
Oh, yeah.
Because we had the wrong leadership in place.
Yep.
And that's going to be a key component of this. Who's going to become the leader, and who are the ones that are willing to back Donald Trump in whatever he's trying to do, and a concerted effort, because to do the things Donald Trump wants to do, he's not going to be able to do all of it unilaterally. He's going to have the House and the Senate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, that's I don't know. That's one that makes it a little uncomfortable, I guess, for me, because we could have the House and the Senate pick the wrong people, and we're hosed. But I don't know.
I'm gonna leave here. I hate to, but I'm gonna leave here 11:30. I have a sick child at home.
Poly market.
So
94.4%.
Holy
Trump,
moly.
5.9% Kamala.
Ohio Senate goes to just called Moreno. That's huge. 'Cause
Really?
Brown was the incumbent.
Yeah.
They upset Brown.
That's big.
Wow.
That's big. That's great.
Wow.
Man, that's a big one for the Senate.
Oh, this is good stuff. Well, you guys want to?
What do you think about Rick
You want to
Scott?
go to 11:30?
What do you think about Rick Scott as the next speaker?
I know. I pause on that too a little bit. I would have to think about who I would want as speaker. I would have to think about that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it would be a bad option.
No.
I teeter though.
Yeah.
I teeter. I don't know. I haven't thought about that one, to be honest.
I think all of them. I think Cornyn, Scott, these guys are in their 70s.
Scott in his 70s?
And
Holy cow.
They're good dudes, but they're also establishment. They've also, like, we need somebody that's, what would be great is if we could find a Tea Party guy, an old Tea Party guy to get in there.
To be speaker?
Yeah.
Yeah. Get a Matt Gaetz in there.
Yeah.
Dude.
I would love to see
Oh,
Matt Gaetz
man.
as speaker. He doesn't play friendly enough. And that's unfortunately one of the things that you have to be able to do.
Yeah.
Unless
Is politics a little bit.
Unless you got control of both.
I mean,
You don't have to be
valid
too
point.
friendly then.
Valid
You
point.
can just be like, we're putting it through.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Cry?
That is true.
That's a very valid point.
So why not?
But he's he does have to play some politics with the purple, like the light red, the pink Republicans.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I get it. I just.
But I think if we had come out in some massive groundswell, we took over New Hampshire and we took New Jersey and we got Pennsylvania and we got Michigan and Wisconsin and we got all, and you had this monster sea of red, people would say, all right, maybe I need to fall in line with where the bulk of this party is, because this could turn on me really fast, and you could play a little more politics with it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
maybe.
It's kind of like how much do you want to stay in your seat?
Yeah.
I
mean that's it. And we have to remember too, they are they're representing their constituents.
Yeah.
And so whenever they vote, it's not voting as a party necessarily. It's voting what your constituents want. And in some of these pink areas, they might not be on board with some of the bigger changes that actually need to take place.
Yeah.
So it's going to be on you to, explain it to them. Hey, this is what we're going to do. It's not just shutting down the Department of Education to save us I looked it up a little while ago, $200 and some billion that we can't afford to pump into this government agency. But it's going to give you X, Y, and Z opportunities. There's more school choice. It's going to be pumping money into charter schools and giving that money to places that are beneficial to your kids. School choice is a big deal to a lot of folks.
Yep.
And say, ending education in America. It's ending the bureaucracy that's caused us to degrade our level of.
Yeah, and that's what so many people think. Oh, we're ending education. That's period. And I'm like, no.
They get $200 and some billion and they don't educate a single student.
Right.
They don't have a single school.
The numbers don't show it.
Right.
Well, and I mean, they just set the standards, the educational standards, to make it even across the board, like a good socialist organization does. And as any socialist organization, when you put a blanket policy on education across the board, everything tends to go down because you have to cater to your lowest common denominator.
Yep.
Where you have charter schools. I mean, Harlem did this years ago. Harlem was atrocious school systems, and they started putting in these charter schools, and they had, private institutions, and these kids were getting into it. And in the midst of Harlem, their test scores were shooting through the roof. And what happened? The teachers union came in and lobbied with the state government to get them all shut down. So in an effort to keep things even, they disenfranchised the kids that were in the schools that were doing the best, that were going to go to the Ivy League schools because they got the good test scores, or going to the higher levels of education.
Right, to save the union. To save the
union and to justify their existence.
Yeah, it's really sad because I saw Dangerous Minds. And I know those kids need all the help they can get. And when they get it, that was with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer,
yes.
yeah.
And
Kamala Harris is no longer taking questions, whatever that means.
Uh-oh. She's gotten into the Chardonnay.
I'll tell you.
I actually didn't know she ever took questions.
Yeah.
Fair.
I mean,
I just said it. That's fair. It's true.
Her teleprompter is malfunctioning.
Right. She's not taking questions. This is hot off the press. Washington right now, Trump is in the lead, 49-48.
There you go. Just call it.
That's interesting.
Call
it now.
Yep.
13% reporting.
Oh,
They haven't opened a single ballot from Seattle. But
yeah,
she's going to win that in a landslide. Minnesota, too close to call, 14% in. Trump is up 60.3 to 37.5. That will change.
That will change.
I would.
However, Wisconsin.
Oh, he's looking pretty good in Wisconsin.
Trump is looking really good in Wisconsin with 62% reporting in. He's at 50.2. She's at 48.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, so my AP numbers say now 63, and it's 50.8. So he gained a fraction of a point, and she lost a bit. So he's at 50.8, and she's at 47.8. So he's 4 points up, or 3 points up.
Yep. He's still almost 3 up in Pennsylvania.
But here's another example.
Georgia.
Robert Kennedy. He's got it's only 0.5% of the vote, but when you're talking about tight races, 11,000 votes is no joke. In Michigan.
Oh
yeah. RFK's gotten. I mean, Jill Stein. Jill Stein got 10,000 votes.
Kennedy's got 8,500.
8,500 votes in another tight race.
And see, those are just.
Kennedy's got 10,000 votes in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So I mean, here's the other thing. You shouldn't be voting if you're voting for somebody that's not actually running. At this point, you literally have no. I don't get it. Well, those are probably throwaway votes. People that are like, you know what? I hate both of them. I'm just going to vote for him, even though he's not running.
Well, he put it out on his Twitter.
I know he's done did everything he could to get his name off of him, but
they sued him. They sued him for getting his name on the ballot.
Yep.
And then when he dropped out, they started suing him for trying to take his name off the ballot because they said, well, we need you to take the votes away from Donald Trump. So it's a jacked up system. But
Jeremy, you said the Florida abortion thing passed, right?
That's what it said, yeah.
So I'm seeing the George Soros-backed abortion measure in Florida has failed.
Okay, good. Well, we were still in the throes of it. It was 40.
Okay.
So they had put a check mark on it, like it was done, but the votes weren't finished being counted.
Gotcha.
So this is another classic example of what I like to call the Virginia syndrome. Okay, let's call it. It's done. It's going to Kamala, and now it's time we better step that back. So
they've started playing YMCA at Trump's party.
Have they really?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
That is a little bit like playing Rocky Top.
Yeah, that's like playing Rocky Top when you're on the 10-yard line.
Yeah, it's like if you don't want to, I wouldn't be playing. And Tennessee does that. We're going to go ahead and play Rocky Top when we're up by 25, but it's just the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I've been burned.
Yeah,
I have. BVS, battered ball syndrome. I have that.
Battered Vols.
That's a real thing, man.
Oh, that is a real thing.
Oh,
yes.
it's so hard to be a Vols fan.
Oh my gosh,
I still love them.
so-
But
Hey,
boy,
we're
it's
doing okay, doing good this year. Doing
It's
good.
ridiculous. Did you see? Let's get on to stuff that really matters just for a minute. Did you see that Texas has moved back up?
Yeah, the in the midst of all this, the college football playoff rankings came out tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, boys. Texas over Penn State?
Yeah, absolutely.
You think so?
Absolutely. I think
I know you're SEC guys.
Oh,
but
well, I mean, I wouldn't. I don't even. I don't like Texas at all.
Penn State losing by a fraction to Ohio State. That's it.
Mm-hmm. I just
haven't played close. I
watch Penn State, and I just don't. And maybe I think because it's just boring, but I just can't. I don't see them competing with Texas.
It is a little boring, but man, that defense is.
Oh, I know it is. It is. It would. I'm so glad they went to 12 teams, though. I don't think they need to like extend that ever. I think we need to keep it at 12.
12's perfect.
12 is amazing, and that makes it. God, it's so exciting.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
You know, some people have like. I think if you're in like the first 8, you get to host a game. I think your next game. That's flipping cool. Yeah, according to Fox News, the Kamala campaign is apparently no longer responding to requests for comment. So basically, they are silent. Nothing.
Michigan. Let's see what they're saying. Oh, they're off of it. I was going to say, I'm curious to see what NBC is saying about Michigan. There it is. Bernie Moreno. Wow. What are we at now?
Or they will they will not call Georgia or North Carolina. They will not do it.
Nope.
United States Senate. Again, it's not an official projection at that moment, but if things happen as expected, it would look like a two-seat gain here in the Senate. And so this is a hugely consequential vote here. Sherrod Brown, in a red state, was fighting for his political life. He's pulled that rabbit out of the hat a few times,
let me say this real quick.
Tonight.
Sorry.
3 times.
70% of the vote is in for Pennsylvania. Trump leads by over 160,000 votes.
Nice.
Ooh.
That's a lot.
How much of it's in?
70.
Wow. I mean,
that working class appeal.
Technically, if you think of it,
this Trump-backed candidate,
that's
Bernie
in
Moreno,
PA,
a car dealer, able to topple him tonight. Again,
so that's,
we've been looking for
that's significant.
ticket splitters. Didn't find one here in this.
But at the same time, I mean, that's out of still a relatively thin margin when you're talking about 5.5 million votes that were counted or cast.
Yeah.
So you're at because it's 2.5 to 2.7. So yeah, about.
Does it say how many votes are left on that, or is that just on
no? It just gives percentage. So it doesn't say how many actual votes are left, but. But yeah, I mean, Donald Trump's 2.7, Kamala's at 2.5. I mean, I'm sure the Democrats could, squeak a. I don't know how many ballots can you fit in the back of a cargo van? I mean, surely.
Yeah.
I think at this point, I think the old tactics aren't going to work. Right? The cargo van, you ain't getting away with this time.
Nope.
Because there's so many people watching.
That's it. That's the difference.
And so I don't think they're going to be able to pull their shenanigans like they did.
So Bob, he had a question, and I can pull this up for you. So he was asking which state does she have to flip in order for this to happen. So if we, there's, a couple of scenarios. Of course, 270. Come on, 270 to win is struggling.
Is he looking for her to win?
So yeah, for her to win.
What does she have to do? She's going to have to take North Carolina or Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Michigan, Wisconsin, obviously Arizona.
So yeah, it kind of goes a lot of different ways. If Nevada's just a big question mark, but we think it's probably. A lot of people say that it's going to go Trump. Who knows? But let's assume that Trump doesn't win that, and she gets Nevada. And if Kamala gets Pennsylvania, then Kamala is also going to need to pick up one of the either Wisconsin, either Wisconsin or let's see, because if she wins Michigan. Puts her. She have to win both of them
at this point. she'd have to win them both.
Yeah, and
Click
there's
on Michigan one more time because that's only 15. It doesn't go dark blue.
No, yeah, it will go dark blue, but if she wins both of these swing states and Nevada, and of course we know she's going to take Virginia, but she loses Pennsylvania but wins North Carolina. So that's really the path for her. That's a steep path because it's looking North Carolina is going to go.
Well, this
red.
just in, it says Trump won North Carolina. So let
so
me pull this up. There, it looks like I don't know who's calling it.
Yeah. So if that's the case, if Trump wins North Carolina, and if Trump wins North Carolina and Pennsylvania,
I mean, there's no way
it's done.
Yeah.
Like that's just it, and it's not going to turn in her favor.
Right. Because all the models were saying when they did the mock maps and everything, they would leave Pennsylvania to the end. And if Pennsylvania was the one that you had to win,
I don't know how they can't, how they're not. They haven't called it yet. It's almost 90% in.
Let me see if Fox is.
And what's the percentage for him? So I mean, if she wins Pennsylvania, then Donald Trump is going to have to win Nevada.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to win one of these other swing states.
Yep.
He's got to win either Michigan or Wisconsin.
Yep.
So that's kind of the toss.
Basically, she would have to win Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. He would have to win just one of those. If
she's got to go 3 for 3, he's got to go 1 for 3.
Yeah,
it's much easier.
That's That's a great way to put it.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but it's looking like you were saying. It's looking like Pennsylvania's probably Trump's, but
yeah,
North Carolina, Pennsylvania, probably Trump.
I mean, he can. Yeah, if he gets Nevada,
Wisconsin,
and North Carolina, it's
And technically, there's no state that she is going to flip to blue from red unless the only state that she could do that is North Carolina.
Right.
Because Georgia was blue last time, correct?
Right. Georgia was blue last time, and Georgia, why they have not called that, I don't know. That's the one that you go, okay, what games are they playing?
That's being overly cautious, or they're waiting to see if they can slip a few more votes in there. If you believe in the election interference.
But I mean, you're at 90%, and he's up by 2 points. I don't know how you don't call that.
Joy Reid claims that black voters in Houston are deeply suppressed after Trump wins Texas. Of course, what do we expect her to say? That? Joy Reid. I mean, she may have to.
Who is she again?
She's on.
I'm kidding.
Okay,
I'm kidding.
I forgot what network she's on.
CNN, isn't she?
Is she? Yeah. It's one of the.
It's one of them.
It's one of them.
One of the establishment. So it's really because they're.
That's what it's going to be. I mean, it's going to be
racism.
Yeah, I mean,
which
is the Democratic calling card every single
and
time.
Sexism. Speaking of which, I love the commercial that came out about husbands. You don't have to let your husband know who you're voting for. But we're not racist or sexist at all, right? I mean, I saw that and went, I don't ask my wife who she's voting for.
That was a terrible thing for them to do.
That tells you how bad is your candidate that you don't want to even say who you're voting for.
That backfired.
Yeah, right. But you want to talk about
I'm going to answer Bob's question real quick.
Oh, yeah.
We're Trump supporters, Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely are.
But it's, okay, so California, we got 17, and I know she's going to win it, but I just like to see this 17% in, and she's up 60% to 37.5. That's big, but in California, that's tight for them.
Meanwhile, on the down ticket, Republicans are 1 seat away from controlling the Senate.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's probably going to happen. Michigan, Michigan. Well, they only got 32% in, but Trump's got a 7% lead. So that's pretty big.
In Michigan?
In Michigan.
That's funny. I'm not seeing that.
Auto workers coming out in droves. Yeah.
Don't you love how every network and all the coverage is different?
I love
that.
Yeah. Well, it keeps everybody guessing, and they're stringing. Some of them are stringing people along, I'm sure.
Yeah, because NBC is reporting that Trump is down. It's 49.7 to 48.5 or 34% in. So, but it can all change in a
I wish I'd have bought crypto. Dang it. I'm still just thinking about that. Like if you bought
77% in Pennsylvania, it's 51.47, 51.2, 47.8. Trump.
That's good.
Minnesota is 17% in. Trump has got a pretty big lead there.
It's pretty clear what as far as Fox is going, it's pretty clear what Fox is doing. They're just holding all the big boys. I mean, it's just it's to make you watch longer. We all know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean it. Yeah.
Bob had another question. He wanted to know, he said, may I ask your guys' thoughts on his proposal for 10% on all imports, not trying to press you or anything, just curious. That's a good question. I mean,
I think that's a great question. And I guess my response would be to, like, okay, now people have said everything's gonna cost us more. And I say, okay, if you really look at the numbers though, 10% tax on imports coming in straight across the board.
Well, not necessarily across the board. I think he needs to be strategic with it. So if
I don't. I think if it's 10% straight across the board, everything is still going to cost less than it does right now. Like, so if that makes sense, if you're going to leverage things, what you're going to do is tax stuff coming in and leave stuff that's domestic.
Yeah, I think that, so, and my understanding is it's going to be strategic. So he's saying that if we produce it, then tariff it. But if we don't produce it, then you can't tariff it because that's going to jack up prices too much. So I think that his plan is strategic. It's not just saying China's going to pay, or anything coming from China is going to be 10% across the board. And I think that's reasonable because if we can have an option to buy American products, and that forces the market to say, well, okay, we can buy the widget from China at a 10% premium, or we can buy it in the U.S. and it's going to be a comparable price, then obviously we're going to buy it from the U.S. Now, the question is, what's the comparable value? Because things made in the U.S. are going to be more expensive. So that's probably why he's toyed with something like a 20% tariff to say, well, now the Chinese product is going to be, elevated above the price of the American product so that we're forced to buy U.S. And that just benefits companies here. And
all across the board.
Right.
And what that will end up doing is it's almost like a trickle-down effect. And that's what I mean by I would go straight across the board on. I wouldn't be selective. Everything coming from China is 10%. When you start to focus on American manufacturing, you're going to be able to bring the prices down just a little bit on American manufacturing because you're bringing the prices up on overseas stuff. Mm-hmm. The more supply, the more demand. People are going to, they'll tool up, get ready. We'll start to produce again. And I think that we'll see overall a cost lowering straight across the board, even though there's a tax on the Chinese imports, right?
Yeah.
They're so cheap to begin with.
They are, but I think that there's going to be certain things that are capacity related. So we don't have the capacity, the manufacturing capacity, and so taking the time to get up to speed on being able to produce that product, and then once we can, which they can do that pretty quickly.
I think over the long, this might not happen in his term, but if it maintained, it would happen where our prices and our economy would definitely, there's so many benefits. Our economy would be so much stronger.
Yeah.
Manufacturing at home, buying at home, staying stateside, all of those things. And really it's more about kind of a punch in the gut for the Chinese.
It is. And we used to use tariffs all the time. I mean, that's how before we had an income tax, I mean, it was tariffs. And, if we wanted to go to war, we were selling war bonds and doing that sort of thing.
Yep.
So tariffs are a powerful tool if they're used appropriately.
Well, I mean, here's
we're at
the other half. Talk about, you can't just talk about the tariffs. You got to talk about the full tax plan.
Right.
Yep. So what's Trump's agenda with taxes? Because if you look at what he wants to do with taxes, well, that's going to cover your tariff costs on your goods. I mean,
yeah.
So
and that's like, okay, in Germany, he uses the example of Angela Merkel saying, and he asked her, how many Chevys are there in driving through Berlin, and none, because they have 100% tariff on it. And these were things. A lot of this stuff extends from all the way from the Marshall Plan, and we left these things in place. You're talking about post World War II stuff that it was to help them rebuild and now they're still doing it. Well, okay, you want to charge 100% tariff on our cars, charge 100% tariff on your car,
right? And
get into a tariff war to a certain degree so that our products can now be sold in their country. There's going to have to be some give and take on that sort of stuff. Yep. And he threatened the president of France, if you what was it? If you don't, I forget what the deal was. But he basically threatened. He said, "I'm going to put 100% tariff on every bottle of champagne, every bottle of wine that comes out of France." And he said, no, you can't do that. You can't. And he's like,
it's an incredible leverage tool.
It is a very incredible leverage.
So I did want to just jump over to this So right now in the battleground states, Georgia, Trump's up 2.6, North Carolina 2.8, Pennsylvania he's up 3.1, Arizona he's up 0.1. So razor thin in Arizona, but you just take that first block where he's up pretty great. He wins those, it's over.
Yeah.
And right now it's trending that he's up pretty healthy.
Boys, I got to probably head out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You got a sick kiddo?
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
Lord be with Parker or Mason, whichever one it is.
Yep.
Yeah. Be with Parker. Is he?
I think he's got a cold. But
Oh, yeah. And a cold for a kid is never ending.
no,
It's the worst thing ever. Well, especially because he's a man child. So it's a man cold
you won't be going to school tomorrow.
with a child. And that is double.
There's a funny joke out there, or it was like a meme, and it says a woman doesn't understand a woman who's given birth without drugs doesn't understand the pain of a man who has a cold.
That's right. They have no clue. They have no clue. A man cold is one that is.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Yep. So, Trump's up 2.4 in Wisconsin right now. The only one he's Michigan and Nevada are going for Harris, but so far, well, Nevada's not really doing anything, but Michigan's 1.8 in favor. Only 1.8 in favor of Harris right now. I thought it'd be.
Yeah, it's not much.
So, yeah, it's not looking good for her. Now, just like last time around, though, we're going to go to bed or go home and wake up to a completely different story, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're going to go home and find out they had some trucks, they found some stuff, they did. And so I'm just going to say to all the watchdogs out there, be vigilant tonight, stay awake, drink your coffee, anything that you see, film it, report it, get it up on X because it's not coming down off of X. And you can forget about Instagram and Facebook and all that. Put it on X so the world can see it, so that we know what's going on as far as harvesting ballots and all that stuff. I don't believe they're going to do that this time. I think they did last time, and I'll be the first to admit I am an election denier. I don't think Joe Biden won last time.
No, absolutely.
But they can't rely on those tactics this time because I think there's too many people that don't believe that are watching. So, yeah, okay, go on. You were going to say something.
No, I was going to say that I think they're going to try to do it, but yeah, no problem, Bob. Hey, you're Canadian. Welcome from Canada. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. We'll be trying to stay safe here in America.
Bob,
we'll see.
Thanks for tuning in tonight, eh?
Yeah, eh?
There you go.
Appreciate it, eh? We love our Canadian brothers and sisters. Praying for you guys too. Y'all got a lot of stuff going on.
You know,
up
it's
there,
funny, Bob. I mean, so the deal today when those devices went off in the airplanes, you guys hear about this? They're saying it's Russia, but apparently they mailed explosive DHL, hoping that they would be on a passenger plane, and they caught fire overseas in Europe. They didn't make it here, obviously. They didn't make it to a passenger plane. They caught fire in the warehouse. But those were addressed to Canada. They were going to Canada and to here. Why would anybody want to pick on Canada? Like, you guys have done really, I mean, you're not like.
They have the reputation of being very, very nice people.
Oh, I know some Canadians that are not very nice.
Do you?
Yeah. But,
okay.
But I'm going to say this, like, as far as a global thing, you know, you got an army, you've got a great army, you've got, but you're not exactly kicking the door down of any country. You're not making people angry at you. And so why would they want to send an explosive package on a plane destined for Canada? I don't get it. I get coming here. I mean, I get it here. Yeah. US, I get it. I understand why a lot of countries would want to do that, but,
I want to get back to what I'm going to say.
Go on.
Close out. But that was that I think that in this election, we are going to see some of it. There's going to be reports coming out. But what I had hoped and what we've been talking about for months is having it too big to rig. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we're seeing now, that people are coming out in a groundswell. They are going to make an effort to do it.
Yep.
But I don't think that it's going to have the impact that they think it's going to. At least that's my prayer, my hope and prayer for America.
Yep.
Well, we all knew it had to be big enough that it was an undeniable, like they're not going to be able to cheat their way out of it.
Because the cheating would be so, like, noticeable.
Yeah.
They try to do
Well, I mean, we've got more votes than we have people.
Right.
That's what's going to end up happening when it's all said and done, right?
Yeah.
Or, really 99% of America voted. Like, no, that doesn't really happen ever.
Never.
So you can't, that's not true. But yeah, if you want to, Ben, you want to get out, it's 11:30. It's great. I'm good to go for a few more minutes and see where we end up, Jared, if you want to keep going. I mean, we're at 51% in Arizona, and it is...
Dude, if I didn't have to go, I'd be staying here till
dead heat.
North Carolina and Georgia.
It's a dead heat. Well, I don't know that they're gonna. I mean, that's the thing. At what point do you call Pennsylvania 80% in?
He's at 5% in Michigan right now.
Georgia, they're at 91% in, and he's up 2%. When do you call it?
They're still unloading the vans, guys.
That's right.
Yeah, he is. Wow, he's up 3%. He's up 3% in Michigan, with almost 40% in. Wow.
Oops. Yeah, they are. I don't know, pulling tough boxes out. Oh yeah, Bob. He said they've opened their borders a lot. They've had a lot of people coming across their borders. They made India enemies with India, harboring some Sikh separatists. We have heavy domestic issues with a lot of people very angry at the current government.
Well, I don't blame. Yes, I get that. I totally get that. Your current government is trash.
Trudeau is. Oh,
yeah.
What I would be interested, Bob, since we got you on here and we're getting conversation. We're talking about elections. Pierre I'm going to mispronounce.
Just say Pierre. You're good.
Polivier. I cannot. Pierre. Everybody knows Pierre.
He's Pierre.
Is it that guy, or I mean, is he going to be the big change that you all think you're going to have up in Canada? Because we're looking for a change down here in America. Go back to what we had, and y'all have had Trudeau for a while. So I'd love to know what you think about.
I would also love to know what kind of propaganda, I guess would be the right word, that you've heard about the what do we call it last time? David 19. Yeah, David 19.
Oh, David 19.
Yeah.
Right.
Corona. Yeah. I would love to hear your thoughts and your take on the pandemic.
You said all the words that are going to get us kicked off of YouTube.
Plandemic?
Yes. Don't say that.
It's not a real word. It's made up.
Later, buddy.
Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
I could put a hat in that seat. I've only got a 3-person camera shot.
You can't shut that one. You can't shut that camera down.
No, I did. Well, I guess I could, but it looks better this way.
But I would be interested to hear, to see your take on just how hard it was up there and what he did as far as just shutting you guys down. And, my favorite moment of that whole season was the trucker movement that happened up there.
Oh yeah.
Man alive. You want to talk about sticking it to the man. I thought that was fantastic.
Still don't get this Georgia deal. Good gracious.
Yeah. Over 2.5% he's up, and they're at 92% in. So I don't understand why they don't call it. North Carolina has officially been called by NBC News, going to Trump, which brings the total up to 230. She has 185.
Man. I mean, he's leading plus 2.6 in Georgia, 2.8 in North Carolina, 3.2 in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, once they call, and Pennsylvania's 81% in, but once they call that's a big one.
That's like that's the death nail in this whole deal.
I can't believe they haven't called it, but I'm glad they called North Carolina finally. It took them quite a ways to do that, and I can't believe they haven't called Wisconsin yet either. It means they're saying it's too close. 70% in. Trump's up by 2, almost 3.
Yeah.
3.
I mean, that's pretty great. 200,000 votes so far. I mean, this is with 90% reporting. It's looking good. I won't put it past them to pull the wool over our eyes in some case, but man.
So at this point, I think it's looking pretty secure with Georgia and Pennsylvania both.
Wait, Arizona's close still.
Arizona is razor thin,
making
but
me nervous.
he doesn't need to win Arizona if he wins Georgia and Pennsylvania. Looks like Wisconsin is
Correct.
going his way. Michigan, he's up in Michigan right now. But if he just takes Georgia and Pennsylvania,
Yeah, I mean that's 281.
He's got it.
Yeah, it's all East Coast. Everything after that is just
I would love to see him flip a couple more, win a couple more.
I think the mandate to the establishment is going to be
300's the number.
Yeah, I mean if he gets Michigan and Wisconsin, I mean heck, if he gets Michigan, Wisconsin, and Nevada, I mean you're talking about 312. That would be monstrous. That'd be pretty close to what you predicted.
I told you. 312.
I'm not a fan of saying I was wrong.
Yeah. But
I did take a safe route on mine.
I did say Arizona too, though. I had Arizona in there, so I think if we can pull my map up.
Oh yeah, well that's what I was saying. Like, here, yeah, let me pull up your map.
Because I had the taupe in there, which was kind of a swing deal. I had a little bit of a tan, but I was predicting pretty close to where we're at.
Yeah, my brother sent me a note, and he said, I'm looking for this message. He said California electorate needs to be reduced. It's not nearly as populated as it was when they created that number.
Yeah, when they do the
New York
polls
as
next
well.
or the census next,
Yeah.
it will be. I mean, they're going to drop. I don't know how many people. Let's look up how many people have left California. They've had.
It's hundreds of thousands. It's not. I don't think they've hit the millions mark yet. But let's see. So your map showed.
Now here's the other half
There he
though,
is.
with immigration.
Okay, so you had you didn't pick Minnesota you picked Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Nevada, Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so with those that got him 316.
And so right now we're trending Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, so you were good on those.
We're trending Wisconsin.
Yes.
And
Arizona's a tight race.
Toss up.
Yeah.
Michigan and Minnesota I didn't pick, and we'll see where they shake out. Michigan's going to be a tough one. I don't know.
I think he could because the union, that kind of hidden union vote.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, he's up pretty substantial with 40% in.
Yeah.
But Michigan is such a diverse. It is not the Michigan that I grew up with anymore.
Yeah.
And Minnesota is definitely not the Minnesota I grew up with anymore.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's Michigan, Wisconsin. Here, I'll pull this up here.
Okay.
If he gets Michigan, Wisconsin, he's at 312. I mean, if he gets Nevada and Arizona,
it's over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's over if he gets Pennsylvania
I mean,
and North Carolina.
It is. He can lose Michigan. He can lose Wisconsin. He can lose Nevada.
He can lose Arizona.
He can lose Arizona, and he's still at 270.
Yep.
So, I mean, Arizona's. It's all like we want him to get all of it. I mean, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But if he wins these two, it's over.
Yeah.
So, and right now, Pennsylvania 82% in, Trump at 51.3, Kamala at 47.6, Georgia too close to call at 91%. Trump is up 2 points.
Well, buddy, you about ready to call it?
Doesn't look.
Bob, he said the main issue was not really the pandemic, but the amount of immigrants. He's saying that Pierre is not going to really change anything.
You guys got to find somebody that can change it.
Yeah.
I mean,
who's your Donald Trump?
Yeah, who's your guy, Bob? Who do we start talking to now that we know Canadians are listening?
I've done several videos. Bob, you ought to check them out on Continue Freedom. I've done several videos kind of about the Canadian situation over the past year. Like I say several, I've probably done one or two. But, I mean, there's all kinds of personalities out there that want to shake up politics and want to change the way things are going. There's got to be, I mean, I know Canadians have got to be ticked off, but I don't know.
You have to be. I don't know. I mean, you guys have got it worse than we do.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say that, but you do. And
it's like living in a dictatorship.
Yeah.
In that place. I mean, we're closing in on that really fast. If we were to have 4 more years of Kamala Harris, we'd be knocking on that same door. I might be driving up to Canada.
Yeah, right.
You know it.
So, significant Muslim boycott of Kamala in Michigan for not promising to take action to stop Israeli army offensive. The New York Times is now posting and reporting that Trump has a 66% chance of winning Michigan.
Whoa, that's good.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So if you pull up that other map and we just go Michigan blue.
Sorry. The 270
our map, 270. So Michigan goes red.
And if we'll assume Arizona goes red.
Oh, we're almost to that.
Yeah. I mean, we need Nevada.
You need Nevada or Wisconsin.
Or Wisconsin.
Yeah. If you get Wisconsin, you're over 3.
Oh yeah. If you get Wisconsin, you're at 306.
Yeah. Nevada, you're at 312.
Yeah.
That's sending a pretty clear message.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the popular vote and electoral college vote. We would call that a clean sweep. It's not Reagan.
No.
But boy,
Reagan's was.
If you're in
I don't know if we'll ever repeat that.
If you're in a blue state, you got to look at that map and go, maybe there's something to this I'm missing. I don't know. Especially with Virginia. I mean, we just go back to Virginia, which I know they've called for her, but it's 86% in, and it's actually relatively close. You know, it's 100,000 votes off, 170,000 votes off. And you look at Virginia, and we look at them because they're our neighbors.
Right. I don't
in
have
fact,
it pulled up.
they're right across the street from us. But Virginia is red except for the cities. It's red. So this is why the Electoral College is so important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah. That's it. Well, it's close, but I think it's close enough for me to call it. Are you about ready, or not to call it? But
yeah, I think we're ready.
Yeah,
I think we can call it a night and call it an election. I think Donald Trump will be the next president of the United States again. We want to jump over to the House and Senate races really quick to see who is picked up and who is lost. Just so everybody knows, if we get a red wave, which this looks like it's kind of a red wave.
The Senate's showing 50-41 right now. So it looks like we're going to get, all indicators are we're going to hold a majority.
Yeah, the House is at 173-144. Flipped 3 seats and gained 1.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's big.
That's really great. Okay, I mean, this
America the Beautiful.
America the Beautiful.
And whether Trump wins or loses tonight, those two are really huge.
Yeah.
The House and Senate. Boy, talk radio is going to be fun tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be spicy.
This is going to be fantastic. So, well, as always, we thank you for joining in with us tonight.
Yep.
My name is Jeremy. I'm the host of one of the hosts, but braver than the rest. And Jared, I thank you for opening up the studio for us tonight.
Absolutely, man.
The Continued Freedom home base. And
that's right.
To do this special election night coverage. And thanks to all that have joined in. I do want to say that no matter the outcome of this election, that we serve a God that's not fazed by it. And if you put your faith and hope in him, your trust in him, he'll never let you down, even though politics always lets you down. Always. I can't tell you how it's what they do. Politicians let you down. But put your faith and hope in Christ, who we believe is coming soon. And friend, if you don't know him, it's real simple. The Bible says that all who call on the name of the Lord will be saved. And I would just challenge you tonight. If you don't know him, get alone. Call out the name Jesus, because that is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. The Bible tells us that God so loved the world that he gave his only son, Jesus, that whoever believes in him will not perish but have everlasting life. And it's pretty simple. It's through your belief. It's through your belief and your faith in Christ. For you to follow Christ, his teachings, listen to what he says, learn from him, get in a good Bible-based church, even though churches hurt people sometimes, because people hurt people. Jesus never hurts you. Man, that's another episode, by the way, that we could just go So I do want to say this, though. We believe that our King is returning soon. The conditions of the world, all the prophecies that have been spoken of and written in the Word, we can see things coming to pass now. And so we always close out Braver Than the Rest with this simple saying, keep your eyes to the skies. Our King is coming. And I want to encourage you with that tonight. No matter the outcome of the election, no matter what's going on in Canada, our King is coming. So till next time, Braver Than the Rest, continued freedom.
Absolutely.
The joint
fun
podcast. It's been great. I love it.
Great.
Love
we
it.
need to do this more.
Yeah, we do.
Every Wednesday, by the way, I'm on the Braver Than the Rest podcast with Jeremy, and we have an absolute blast. So Wednesdays at 9 p.m. every Wednesday.
Yes, except this week.
This week not.
We're gonna pause. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, Wednesdays at 9 p.m.
Yep.
And of course, Continued Freedom is constantly putting up content.
I'm always putting out something.
I'm loving it. It's like every time I turn around. So
yeah, I try to put stuff out on the weekends. Just hit subscribe and hit the notification bell on both our channels, on Braver Than the Rest. Hit us on Rumble, YouTube, X, all that good stuff.
And share.
And share it with everybody. That's the key. Got to share it with everybody because we're out here trying to do some great stuff. And we appreciate you. Joseph, thank you so much. We appreciate you being here. Bob, we appreciate you being here. All the great commenters, all the people that have been sitting with us all night. You know, this is about building community on both our channels, and we are eternally grateful for you guys hanging out with us for this. Is a long podcast. This is a 3-hour one tonight. We normally don't go this long, but if we get interaction like this, maybe we'll start going this long.
You know, we can. We can go.
We can go. We're not on a time limit.
Listen, I can go all night. Till next time, Braver Than the Rest / Continued Freedom signing out.
Yep. Love you guys. God bless you. God bless America.